Hey, fellow basementers, welcome to the basement. Today, we got Yousef, we got Ubay, we got Booster, and we got Big Blower right here. What are we gonna talk about today, guys? Actually, first, tell me what's up. How's your life going?
I'm in college now.
Really?
Yeah. It's like high school, but you have to do work yourself. You have to,
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't force you to do your work anymore. So
That's good, because I hate when people tell me to do my work 7 days straight. It gets annoying after the first time. How's engineering? It's easy, right?
yeah,
It's
not a lot of girls in that building.
No, a lot of like white dudes.
Well, the professors aren't white.
No.
No.
Yeah. There's one that was a dentist turned engineering professor.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's like the head of the computer science department.
No, I don't know.
You don't know? And
No.
do you know Dr. Salary?
Salary, yeah, that
Yeah,
guy,
he's
yeah.
cool. He's a cool
I talked
dude,
to him today,
yeah.
man. That guy has got that hair, dude.
Yeah, he showed me around, man. He was like, here's a bone that we made.
A bone.
Yeah, it was like a non-cancerous bone that we could put in a human body to replace another bone.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
That's crazy.
He was like, yeah, if you stay in that closet too long, you'll get cancer after about 6 months. I was like, whoa.
Man, you can make a bone. That's insane.
That is insane. In Huntington, like,
Yeah.
think about all the
Less.
stuff, crazy
Now,
stuff.
imagine if you were in somewhere relevant, what you could do.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I wonder where he's from.
Well,
I don't know. He's a cool guy.
the one difference between better colleges and the professors here, though, I mean, the professors here are just as qualified, I'd say, as a lot of the colleges, the bigger colleges. And the issue is they don't have as much funding.
Yes. Yeah, the funding is where it goes wrong. Like, I'm going to WVU, and that's like the thing. Like, everyone thinks, oh, it's a party school, whatnot, but the amount of money they have is pretty high, so they can do some killer stuff in that building up there. You know, they've gotten they were second place in the eco car team across the nation, and that wasn't for you know that's probably because the funding's so much higher, and they can they have a lot more resources, I believe.
Yeah.
A lot more people.
And a lot more people. They have 4,000 engineering students.
Yeah,
That's a
really
lot.
Lord, man.
Hey, let me tell you, their pool is very nice.
Yeah, it's
I
brand
didn't
new.
When did you go up there?
Like a month two.
They got some nice facilities.
Swim meet, let me tell you. Yeah, there's like blocks to jump off of, and it's like 16 feet high.
That's all the cash,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
that high end, or that was the rich public schools, like WVU and Georgia and places like that. UVA is a public school, I think, as well. It's a high end public school. UVA is a beautiful campus.
UVA. What's University of
Virginia.
What's the A?
Where's the Y?
Oh, the A is VA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's awesome that's
thought you
probably the
said
most
B.
beautiful campus I've seen.
So what else is going on, Yousef?
Well, a lot of the engineer. When I first came to Marshall, the engineering wise, I was like, dang, I'm assuming the engineers here aren't going to be very good since they're at Marshall. But a semester and a half into Marshall, I'm amazed that many people have made it through the engineering program. I mean, engineering is a hardcore program. I mean, you have to really put in some hours to get some of the lectures, man. I sit there for 45 minutes and I walk out and I'm like, well, I gained nothing from that. I should have stayed at home and read the book.
Yeah.
What's the most important core course? Physics, math,
Calculus.
calculus?
Calculus.
Oh man.
Yeah, if you don't get the calculus down, man.
Well, I guess that's because also if you don't get the calculus, you usually don't get the physics either, right?
Yeah, well, it's literally the basis of
Yeah.
everything for the next 4 years, man. And I
That's
mean,
scary.
Man, I'm happy I'm not going into engineering.
you're not going to.
Yeah.
Hey, man, there's still time to change, man.
Man, I'm not doing it.
I mean,
I'm good.
If you were gonna do engineering, you would do explosives engineering or chemical.
Probably chemical.
Chemicals is not
Yeah.
as big as the other ones. I mean, it hasn't had as much growth as mechanical and electric.
Well,
And
I talked to the dean of engineering at Marshall, and he told me that chemical is in the future. I believe it was the dean. Might have been one of the professors.
well, the dean isn't he's a mechanical engineer.
Yeah, but they said chemical was in the future of Marshall's program. Like they were gonna.
Yeah,
try to
they
bring
don't
chem-
have chemical
no,
at Marshall.
but they're
yeah.
gonna try to bring it there.
Nice building.
I think we've had enough math this year.
Yeah, Ubay and I, man, we've endured some strenuous times, and
I don't understand
we're
that.
not even close to done yet.
See, I've taken stats and like trig and all that good stuff. It's great. I love it.
Have you
But I
had
haven't taken
Trina
calc.
Wise?
Don't get me wrong. I like the class content, and I like Miss Wise. I just don't like them together. If that makes any sense.
So you may like calc if it was in a different setting.
I like the stuff. I like the content. It's just that class is not the optimal class for me, because that class is a lot of this isn't an insult, but it's a lot of spoon-fed information.
Yeah.
It's very much spoon-fed to you.
Well, how would you prefer to learn calculus?
You give me an assignment.
Oh yeah, application.
You send me. You don't teach me anything. You give me the assignment, and you send me home, and I do the assignment.
That sounds pretty good. You know, that's actually the only way I learned math.
It's sink or
Yeah,
swim.
I would agree with that because like I used to struggle in math because of the way it was taught, but once I realized like if I taught myself the math, you learn it so much better if you teach it yourself.
You know,
just straight up, just like learn it.
The one thing about calculus in high school, though, and I suffered through it like everyone else did.
Yeah.
And you know, it's basically just sitting there, you know, just having information forced into you for like a couple hours a day, right? 2 hours a day.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Well, the first day of college, as soon as we started calculus, man, in college, I started to tear up on the first day of class because after 30 minutes in, when I realized, you know, this is what I'm in now. Because the difference is calculus 1, you have an hour and a half for a whole year of high school.
Yeah.
In college, it's calculus 2, right? It's like calculus 1, except it's in a single semester for 40 minutes for 4 days a week. And it's just rapid fire, you know. It's just not spoon-fed information. It's like truckload information being dumped on you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not very pleasant. It's like the suffering of calculus, but like more condensed.
Nice.
But then you go home and then you study it, and it's just not that bad. But I just wish there's a better way. You know, there's a lot of content, so much content.
I start calculus 1 next year.
College.
Yep.
Because I mean, I like doing the equations and stuff. I just don't like feeling like I have to.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's like it's high stakes for some reason, and I don't like that. With math, I like to like slowly just go through it and enjoy it, but I can't do that. You know, it feels like a grind to like you have to do it.
That's what I like about the idea of a class where there's a test date, and then you start and you know what you're supposed to do, and you have that date, and you do it, and you learn it, and then you have the test, and you prove that you learn it. I know that seems like it's probably very rare in colleges, but if that did exist, that'd be great.
No, the professors don't do that because everyone does very poorly on exams.
Well, I think that shows like if you learned it and had the work ethic to learn it.
Well, if you had the work ethic, the issue is though, you know, they found, but whenever you make an exam, like on the last day of the semester, and don't put any small exams in between, everyone just fails that exam. They just bomb that exam because everyone puts off all the studying until 2 days before.
No one learned it. Yeah. But if you actually wanted to learn the subject, you would have, you know, had.
Yeah, it's that balance of self-responsibility with like how much you want to do.
Yeah.
I think you guys are expecting too much from people. I know myself. I'd have trouble doing it. You know, that would take every day out of bed.
It'd be tough, but you know that would prove that you learned that subject.
Well, here's my thing. Well, math on its own is amazing if you actually get into it. But the way it's taught, man, I just wish there was a better way. Like when I was programming, man, I used to back in high school, I started to really get into algorithm design and programming. And I went out there and I was learning math on its own. You know, I'm building a graphics engine right now in C. And you have to know matrix multiplication and linear algebra and stuff like that. That stuff is miserable to be taught in college. I mean, that stuff you just want to die in college. Well, but right now, whenever I don't know something, I'd go and I'd spend a couple hours reading about linear algebra, and I'd just have a blast doing it, man. I'm like learning something. I built it into the program. You know, I feel like I've just like done something. I'm motivated, but I don't think I could do it in a class setting, man.
Yeah, it's just like whenever I'm on my own, like in jazz band, whenever we're not doing anything, sometimes I'll do calc on the back of a piece of music just for fun.
Yeah.
And like, I can have a good time. And whenever you like do a really difficult algebra part, you know how sometimes it gets.
Yeah.
Whenever you get through it and you like check that it's the right answer and it's good to go, like you get like a rush of dopamine.
Yeah.
You feel
get
good.
that satisfaction.
But it feels like whenever I do that for the class, there's no like rush. It doesn't feel good. It's kind of like a relief. It's like, yeah, I guess I'm done with this problem.
Yeah.
But whenever you do it on your own, it's like, yeah, I did it. It's weird.
You know, the nice thing about college though is you can kind of like say I really liked solving out the physics problems the same way like that Newton and the others originally derived them in physics. So I signed up for a class this semester called Mathematical Methods in Physics, which was doing everything I was doing. It's that class is horrible. I found the method to just make it through it is to sit through until the end of the class to get the assignment and all the stuff that we need to know, and I just go home and learn it how I normally learn it. You know, I just can't do it.
I've heard the most enjoyable class at college are social studies, history.
Yeah, well, that's how it was in high school too.
That is in high school too, but you know, I don't know. Like, it kind of sucks that I'm not gonna have any social studies. I'm gonna try to take a religion course. You know, on the 5 basic religions, the most basic religion class, and then maybe if I could take like the step up from that later on, and then I'm gonna take some micro and macroeconomics. But other than that, it's just science, math, and all the in between, and then engineering.
All right. Well, Ubay, how about you? What have you been up to lately?
Nothing much. Just calculus, really.
Yeah.
Destroying the
Swimming.
Minecraft server.
Kind of okay, that's a different topic entirely.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
I thought calc was pretty enjoyable, you know, in the beginning.
Yeah.
When it was pre-calc, or when it was like
Section
calc?
P, let me tell you.
I didn't like Section P.
You didn't like it?
No.
Well, I started liking it more when Mr. Wood came in because it was like trigonometry. So our trig class was set up like first mod, she would teach us the content, she would, you know, go over all that. And then second mod, we'd have like the whole mod just to do the homework.
Mhm.
The homework, and it was great because it's like you can go at your own pace, you can work with other people, whatever.
I agree that I love that kind of setting.
Exactly, and even if you don't understand something, then the teacher's right there to just ask. So
Yeah, I didn't do homework outside of school once in trig. Didn't study once out of trig, and I was like fine, just because I would sit there on my own and learn it. And then I would teach other people, which would help me even more to process it.
yeah.
You know, because when you're teaching someone else, you learn it even better.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a much better way of learning it than just sitting there. So that's how I kind of.
It builds an ego too.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
like
It really does.
It's like I taught this to someone. I'm not messing this up on the exam, and you.
And then
know.
you do.
Yeah. Oh no. Well.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it also creates like a
Inevitably.
hierarchy in the class. you
It
know?
does. Every
Mm.
class has a hierarchy.
Oh yeah,
Like, for
especially
sure.
math. I think math is one of the big.
And sometimes it's hard to like discern what's really going on, cause like it's like deceptive. Cause sometimes there's like people in the shadows that are really doing well.
Oh yeah.
It's weird.
Just not voicing it.
Especially in college, man. Like, we know that the curve was set. Like the final, I did terrible on the final in calculus. I fell off at the end of the semester. But we know that there was no curve because someone, like, I think, aced the exam. There was no curve on it.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so we don't. Everyone I know, the best people in the class, the ones that speak, you know, the ones I know, you know, they all did terrible too. They all bombed that exam. But
Really?
we know that someone in the shadows.
That's how it always is.
See, I had an AP statistics class, and me and Will were in there, and we would battle for like the best score. You know, like like who could score the highest. That was fun. That made it enjoyable. Was like trying to compete for a better grade. Like made it more enjoyable.
Have you guys ever seen those memes that's like whenever the two smartest people in the class come up with different
Yeah.
answers? Man, that's like the best feeling.
Yeah.
It's so much fun whenever like you and your guy, no matter what the class is, have two different answers for something that are in clear opposition to each other. It's like, yeah, now we fight it out.
Yeah, it's like what led you to think this way?
Yeah.
Like,
Or even open-ended questions as well. Like not really just like one on a test, but like a
Like at the beginning of history.
Like with
opinion.
Gov,
Yeah,
yeah.
like
Gov.
a Gov question. Like today, the gun laws in Virginia on the county level and stuff. Like if two of the smartest kids in the class were like, nah,
But they didn't.
no, everyone was pretty That's the difference between Mr. Scalise's class and Mr. Ripley's. Mr. Scalise's all-out brawl, like that was my class at least for a little while.
It's way more passive in Mr. Ripley's
Yeah.
class.
But you can get more information out of people sometimes in the brawl because people who usually don't speak up start to speak up.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Maybe we should stir the pot more.
Yeah, maybe you should.
I'm gonna ask him about that tomorrow morning and say, hey, what would you think if I started stirring the pot? Then he'd probably be like, you do whatever you want to do, Buster. And then I would.
He would do the hand gesture too because he does a lot of
You
things.
do whatever you want.
You do
to
whatever you. I love the hand gestures.
Hot takes. You
Great
know, I
teacher.
love the class.
He is a great teacher. Yeah.
All right. How about we get into the meat of this show here? So, the first things we are going to talk about are mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see the upside to mosquitoes.
Oh yeah. Like, what do they even do?
They
Well,
get eaten by bats.
I get eaten by bats. Now, would you be willing, like, say you had the final call, would you be willing to exterminate the entire mosquito population?
No.
Like with this? No. You think
Not that species.
not mosquitoes?
No.
Wait, what species?
I think cane toads.
Cane toad. Well, I mean, have you been affected by cane toads in a negative way in the past?
No, but a lot of people have.
Oh.
In Africa, or I think it's Australia. They're rampant there, and like the streets will literally flood with cane toads, like a foot of cane toads. You know how it snows in the United States? Well, there's cane toads in Australia.
Yeah.
So you support the wildfires?
I didn't say.
They wiped out a ton of koala. It was like 10,000 of koalas got burnt in the
What do you
fire.
expect?
What's the upsides of koalas though? Like, what do they?
I mean, well, what's
add?
the upside of any species other than humans?
What's the upside of humans?
Well, whoa.
Cooler nuclear weapons.
I mean, pretty much, you know. Hey, so we can leave this place in ruins and then explore beyond. You know what I'm saying?
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like level 1 complete.
exactly.
It's like a bad relationship
starting.
in high school. You move on from there.
Exactly.
I wish there was a way that better humans could live longer and more because you gotta think how insignificant our lives are. Imagine if someone was 1,000 years old,
It'd
how
still be
wise
very
they
insignificant.
were. They were thousands of years old, what they could accomplish.
Well, they'd only be significant relative to the other humans. They're still equally
Yes.
insignificant.
Dude, I don't even think the issue is time, man. I mean, 100 years is a long time. I mean, I think the issue isn't the amount of time you have; it's the amount of action you take within
Yeah.
the time you're given.
Yeah.
You give 1,000. You're given 1,000 years. Now I'm gonna be 1,000 years lazier.
Well, we're sitting here in the basement talking about on a podcast.
Everything is relative.
Sorry,
man.
guys. I gotta leave. I'm gonna
Oh, hey.
explore Mars. I mean, the universe.
Like, if you think about it, 100 years now compared to 100 years, let's say 5,000 years ago, it's a big difference. Because of how much you can accomplish, just in that span.
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
people that would age to 80 or 100 in the olden days, it's boy, I did a lot of farming in my life.
Exactly. Nowadays it's exponential growth.
Yeah.
We've hit the
Mhm.
curve, and it's
Now, if you live to 100, you may have discovered DNA.
exactly.
It's insane.
You've lived through all the wars, everything.
I think the most important thing we have now compared to back then is obviously transportation. I mean, it took you how long did it take you to go from here to 100 miles that way back in
I would argue it's
1850?
information technology.
Okay, that could be argued as well, but that's a very new concept
It's
compared
not.
to
No,
transportation.
books.
No, it's
Books.
Oh, and books, yeah.
That is information
The press,
technology.
the printing press was a bit old.
Yeah.
Huge.
hey,
But without transportation, press couldn't become a thing. As the way it is now. You could turn on your
Yeah, you're
TV
right.
and see something in New York, but that couldn't have happened without transportation.
Roads.
Yeah, roads, cars,
Yeah, you're
airplanes.
right.
And everything is without transportation, it'd be pretty bad.
Mm.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
be
yeah,
different.
that's a good observation.
War would be more difficult.
Yeah, it'd be more. We'd have to walk to, World War III.
I would get tired by the time I got there, man. I
Yeah.
would form a truth.
You think
Like-
it takes more strategy without more transportation?
Oh yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely, man.
Because with a tank, you're just like,
Exactly. Just
let's go, boys.
tank through it.
Well, that's a fatal flaw with the tank. If you just send it in, you're
No,
done.
no.
You get grenaded and you're done.
That's where we're gonna send some nukes. And we're gonna just go in there. We're gonna bomb them all. We
Just
kill
send a
them all.
bigger tank.
No, I'm joking.
You know,
Send a bigger tank.
I think like trench warfare. You know, that was good because it prevented us from having more wars. I mean, the big issue with war is it's like too easy now, man. You got a bunch. That's why World War I started to begin with. Everyone had new guns.
That's a terrifying idea, but it's true. Because we have war crimes, we're allowing ourselves to have more war. If we got rid of those and we just kept pushing how bad things got, we'd have less war, for sure. Like if people were gassing each other all the time in wars with like VX, which is like the most painful nerve gas out there,
Oof.
war would stop for a little while. You can't keep going after a while. You're gonna have to take a break.
And I think they had a lot of wars back then, not just because of the wars, but because of like the glory. I mean, you ride into battle with a sword on a horseman. You know, you'd be like flying and sword fight. Ding. It would be like a Star Wars battle. That's how I'm thinking it, except with a lot more
You just
injury.
go to a football game and you're
The
like,
way
yeah.
to go to make war stop, take the glory out of it. It's hard to do, but if you make people do really bad things, and it sucks. I probably look like a bad guy for saying this, but if you make people do bad things in order to win the war, you take away the glory, and then war becomes less of an issue. Having war crimes sets a standard for war. It's like, yep, we're going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah, there's no rules for war. Rules make a game fun, right? Without rules, the game is chaos. So adding rules to war has made war, not enjoyable, but organized
and able to be continued.
Yep.
Do you think there could be a war entirely, like, data and internet,
that's what I'm
cybersecurity
hoping the future is like. If we're gonna use force, I say we do like a pseudo war where, and like right now, wars are determined by who's the China's not gonna go to war with us. Well, they might, but some smaller country wouldn't go to war with us because they know they're not gonna win. I mean, back then there was like you fight 300 people versus 1,000. Like we can do it if we really push strategy wise, but nowadays, I mean, it's like you already know who's gonna win because of the scale of battles. And I think in the future, say like China and America get really close and they don't know who's gonna win. I think instead of actually fighting, we should have a pseudo war that's focused on just technology, destroying technology. And after whoever wins that, we can just assume that they are the winner of the war, and then China could surrender.
So like a Cold War, but with more action.
Like a room temperature war type of thing, where no lives are lost, like no economic damage is done to buildings, but like.
That's just not how war works, though, because war is a violent, primal thing. Whenever you try to use reasoning, whenever you try to use reasoning in war to save lives, you end up making bad decisions.
But it's not about lives; it's about money. Like Iran, they didn't go to war with the United States because they knew that they weren't going to win, so they put a hold me back. They just shot some missiles that. These missiles fly down like streets, but they missed a military base after firing multiple missiles. I mean, it was a hold me back, Yeah. I think the future of wars is going to be like a theater type of thing. Until two countries get too confident within their own right, because say China and America are just so neck and neck, and the tensions get so high. I think that a war would be. No one wants to lose a bunch of money. No one wants to do a bunch of economic damage. But I think a war would be.
What they do
short.
to other people, though.
Be short.
They want to do economic damage to other people.
Well, but they don't want
themselves.
economic damage. Yeah, the weapons are too destructive now. I mean, America and China, they would go to the route of diplomacy before the other routes
but
pretty quickly.
The problem with that concept, I like it at first, but the problem is you're going to end up having just a couple of places becoming so powerful that whenever an actual war inevitably breaks out.
Oh, I'm not saying like some kind of rules to set. I'm saying this is like the nature of the modern world. I'm just trying. I'm predicting the nature, like the direction we're moving in.
But nature always changes, Like if it's natural for a while for us to use technology on technology to determine what's going to happen. At some point, some huge military is just, they're not even going to worry about it. They're just going to attack because they're going to try to use a new strategy, and that's going to be one of the bloodiest wars we've ever seen.
Well, I mean, are humans even...
It's basically like humans now use antibiotics, right, all the time. But sometimes we're not using them correctly. And that means that we're eventually going to see a super bacteria disease. And that's basically what that war is going to be like, you know.
Be a good comic book. Super bacteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's my... I don't think even if there was a war, there would even be civilians involved without... not civilians, but like soldiers. Soldiers are becoming less and less relevant in war. I think the future war is just going to be like attacking major...
It's science.
Yeah, it's like a drone strikes on major bases. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you know, if you're afraid of being drone striked at this major economic production location, you built up anti-drone weapons, and then it's going to be a mess from there. It's going to be like, you know, Israel right now. They are completely resistant to missile attacks because they have something called the shield, the metal shield, something like that, where the missiles don't even hit the ground at Israel anymore because they have homing missiles that can detonate right next to a missile and completely destroy it before it even touches the ground.
Do we not have that?
We helped build them. Israel. Yeah.
We probably gave it to them.
Yeah, well, it was like a cooperative thing, but you know, who's gonna launch missiles at America?
Nobody.
Nobody. Israel's at the middle of the Middle East. I mean, every single Arab country is still trying to fight them to this day.
I have a special announcement real quick. We have now had 2 celebrities on the show. Look what was just on the news.
What is it?
Oh gosh. Will Turman
Will Turman's on the news.
was on the news today about Cabell County schools and their facilities.
That's kind of scary.
That is kind of scary. The president of Cabell Midland's student body is helping with the facilities and giving input on
However,
facilities.
I feel like he might have a corrupt voice, honestly, when he goes to the news. Because he's probably going to pull his punches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to speak what's really going on because he's the president and he needs to have a good image. Because he doesn't, you know, it's politics. He doesn't want to feud with people like he has been.
But the guy wore sweatpants and a Calvin Midland sweatshirt on the news.
Yeah.
Didn't get khakis on. Didn't put a button up. Just like sweatpants, sweatshirt, good to go. Roll out. That's
I think the modern climate is focusing on just people being more casual in the game of politics. I mean, Trump's been so successful because he's like a normal guy.
Yeah, because what we're starting to have is more candidate-based politics. Because you can associate with a candidate more than you can a party.
Yeah. The Andrew Yangers and.
Oh, you're an Andrew Yanger?
Oh well, he's one of my favorite Democratic candidates, but so is Bernie, and Bernie's more of that type too. He plays basketball and Jimmy Kimmel.
Focused,
You know,
and
the gamer president,
like Joe.
Aaron Watts.
There's this one I saw on Reddit. This libertarian guy, like the 5th highest libertarian, which means absolutely nothing. But he was on Reddit and he was like, "Hey guys, I believe in libertarianism."
Was it an AMA?
What's up?
Ask me anything.
My name's Sam.
Yeah,
Ask me anything.
Yeah.
44,000 followers.
It's just that like parties just aren't doing well because they don't look right to us. You know, like your Jeb Bushes and your Hillary Clintons, they don't look right anymore. Whenever you compare them to like actual human beings, they look weird. You know, the way they act and behave, it's like they're aliens. And I'm not like one of the reptilian conspiracy people, but like I can understand why they might think that all these people are reptilians.
Do you know who political system I like? Israel's. I'll tell you why.
Do they have a theocracy?
They have 14 political parties.
14?
They have a Russian Israel party. They have it like.
Okay, those aren't political parties.
Oh no, they have a party for everything.
Yeah, those are just.
They have a party for everything, and then they do the system where it's based on percentage. It's not based on pure candidacy. So if you're like, I want to vote Republican, and 50% people vote Republican, then 50% of Congress is now Republican. You feel me?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not like you vote for somebody. It's you vote you vote which one you believe in, which one you think will do the best. They will put their top candidates in for how many, seats they get.
I'm not digging it. You're giving too much power to the party.
See, I'm all political parties, like a lot or none. I don't like two with a bunch of irrelevant parties that think they have a chance, and then
So-
two sides that
Like a monarch? Would you prefer that?
no. Just like if there was 15 political parties, that'd be much better than two.
So, like, do you like parliament system?
Yeah, I think it's better. It's better run than Congress, just because it has more options, and even though some of them are irrelevant, you still do have a lot more options. You have a lot more, candidates that actually believe in what you believe in. Because there's the amount of people who believe in the same things as a candidate in the United States is very low.
Oh, yeah.
People are not at that extreme. People usually tend to be near the middle. Some are more populist, some are more libertarian, whatnot. But when a lot of people are not that liberal or that conservative. So when you have more parties, you have more people representing, and you also have you don't have to. It's not no longer umbrella, but it's more like you can find someone like you instead of having to vote for someone that you have to believe, in.
Exactly. Like, nobody's gonna read through every single belief of this dude. Like,
And believe in it.
exactly.
As well.
Like, you're not hardcore. Like, this man is life.
No one is 100. Well, no one is like 100% Bernie Sanders. Let's say maybe there is, but
There is
Trump.
somebody.
Yeah,
that is.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
it's
definitely-
not.
there's probably more 100% Trumpers than there is 100% Sanders.
Well, it's easier to be 100% Trumper. He's got less of a solid platform.
Or you just be dumb.
No.
I'm just joking.
No.
Fully joking, guys.
Hmm.
Donald Trump is not dumb. His IQ is estimated to be around 120 to 125.
I would suspect it's even higher.
What do you?
I think that's a very difficult thing to estimate.
They estimated John Adams at like 160.
Well, that's understandable, but
I don't
John
like
Adams.
it.
Yeah,
See, it's not even about IQ. Even if the guy is really smart, it determines on about how motivated he is. I mean, that's
They thought Obama's was 270. Yeah, it was probably because he's not human. He's
also
reptilian.
reptilian.
is this? Oh, go back to
Just like
conspiracy, yeah.
G-Dub, George W. Bush.
oh,
My man
Not-
G-Dub,
not-
G-Dub Bush.
George Washington.
No, G-Dub Bush.
Oh,
see, I'd say with political candidates in general, what I'd be looking for more is isn't just their platform, because I don't really agree with many platforms. It'd be more how effective they are. How it's not. I don't want a politician. I want someone who actually does something. Because I say any change is better than nothing. I mean, if there's a stagnant system like this, the school system or something like that, I'd say a lot of. Oh, bless you.
He's drowning.
We're gonna talk about that later, actually, on the list.
Dry-
There's no something to do with water.
water boy.
Oh,
Oh.
is it the allergy of water?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
it's
allergic
diarrhea.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
That one too.
Oh,
Both.
Well, how about we move on to the next topic on our list today? If you couldn't tell by either their names or the stereotypical appearance, we have two followers of Islam today on the
Really?
show. Yeah, Yousef and Ubay. You guys have been practicing your whole lives, I'm sure.
well, I mean, not when I was a kid. I mean, I was very hard to.
Well, you're
can't-
kind of exempt.
Oh.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
exempt when you're a kid. I didn't make a
conscious.
conscious decision to do much as a kid.
Really? So you don't decide till you get.
Well, it's not that you don't decide. It's how you're going to be consciously choosing to follow the practices of Islam.
Because I know, like, I grew up Methodist, and I was baptized when I was like 4 months old. I didn't have a choice.
Oh,
I
so you're,
did
like,
I
forced into
did it. Yeah, you do it. Like you are told you're going to do this. And
Well,
then
I
you
mean,
do
does
it.
that mean anything to you though?
You have
Well, I
to
mean, it
get
wouldn't mean
baptized to
anything.
get into heaven.
Oh,
According to Christianity, you have to be saved, which is like the most important one, and like being baptized, which is different. Through which Baptist church, you're thrown underwater. You know, Methodist, you get sprinkled on the head, like a little bit. It just differentiates which denomination.
No.
Do you know where it originated from?
Yeah,
the concept.
Jesus.
But he was baptized, or?
Yeah, Jesus was big, and I don't know the full like length of it, but I know Jesus was big into baptizing people. Let's look at that.
Yeah, that's well, as a side note on this, in Islam though, children aren't held accountable or anything until adulthood.
I like that.
Do Muslims like pressure their kids into believing the teachings?
Well, you don't have to pressure your kid. I mean, if he's your kid, you tell him there's a God. I mean, and they say, you know, all right, can I keep playing now? It doesn't mean much to them until adulthood, other than they know that there's a God. A lot of the things that you know as a kid don't mean much to you until you're older. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the pre-adulthood, you know, the stages of development.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do what kids do. That's why it's very troubling, you know, in some of these foreign countries where they force children to really do a lot of like hardcore education.
We kind of have that with Christianity in America and stuff, with like Sunday school. And
Well, I mean, you see, I'm still split about that, because on one hand, obviously I'm thankful that I have been educated up until this point, but when I was a kid, I hated it. I mean, I hated school. I didn't like Sunday school because I had to go to extra school. I mean, right now, you know, Sunday school, you know, in Islam, we don't have in Middle Eastern countries, they teach religion into school since you have a 100% Muslim country, right?
Yeah.
But in America, I went to Sunday school to learn Arabic and Muslim beliefs, and I didn't like it. I'm like, I don't like learning stuff. I want to go home and play. But now as an adult, I'm just really regretting it. You know, now I'm having to relearn everything, and it's hard to learn things when you're older because it takes a bit longer, less malleable brain. You know, a lot of stuff like that. You know, it's like I regret it now, but I didn't like it when I was
Well,
younger.
here's the thing: you shouldn't regret it. You were a different person as a kid. Like, you shouldn't expect your kid self to have acted.
Well, not regret. Not regret. Like, I would have done things differently if I had say over myself as a kid.
But I think the best way to work with kids is to just let them explore and be curious and play. Because then you instill a desire to learn for the rest of their lives. If you push too much stuff on them, like say it was beyond just Sunday school, but you were there like every night, always having to learn this stuff, and they'd kill that desire.
I become resentful.
Yeah.
Because I think that you're right. I think a lot of the thing I teach my younger brother a lot of stuff, but I don't force it down his throat like school systems. I basically just talk to him and then get him interested on a thing, and I talk to him until he's like, all right, I want to do something else now, you know, and that's completely fine. And I've taught him a ton of stuff just through that system. Yeah. I think if I was taught like that in elementary school, I'd be a much more capable person than I am now.
Yeah.
So baptism started in the 1st century, if you guys were interested, by John the Baptist. Makes sense. But some Christians believe that early Christian baptisms were performed by Jesus, but
wait,
like
some
he
believe?
performed them?
yeah, some Christians.
Wait, what does it mean? Some Christians believe. Why is there a dispute over?
Well, Christians consider Jesus have instituted the so they consider.
Who was the first person to be baptized?
That's
John the
Jesus.
Baptist was a 1st century mission preacher on the banks of the River Jordan. He baptized Jews for repentance in the River Jordan at the start of his ministry. Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist.
Yeah, so I guess he was right around the same time.
Huh.
Apparently, John the Baptist died in a terrible way.
That sucks. Poor John.
Poor Johnny.
This is like prior to like the birth of the religion, though. Like,
Well, the birth of the religion was when Jesus came, right?
I'd say the birth of the religion was whenever Abraham saw God.
Well, that's Judaism.
That's the,
Well, yeah, but
That's
it's,
like
it's
all
the beginning
three.
of all three of those.
Well, yeah, dude, those Abrahamic
the
religions.
basis. Like, I feel like it adopts that, like, it
Do-
ties back into it.
Do you guys believe in the Torah? Like, do you?
Well, we believe in the Bible
yeah.
too, but the only the difference is, Muslims. The reason Muslims don't use the Bible though, even though they believe in the Bible, is Muslims criticize the way it was documented and the way it was stored. I mean, because Jesus was Hebrew, right? He spoke in Hebrew or an Aramaic language similar to Hebrew,
Yeah.
and then it was documented in Greek. And then the first official Bible wasn't assembled for about 100 or 200 years when a bunch of Christians all came together in an assembly
So
to try
we've
to
been skewed.
yeah. Well, it's obviously skewed to something. I mean, yeah, if you're a Christian, I mean, anyone can actually. It has to have been skewed to some extent because there's so many versions of the Bible.
Right.
You know, it's like you can't argue that it wasn't skewed. All you can argue is my Bible is the correct Bible, and those other Bibles were
Yeah,
skewed.
even today, you can look at like the 4 or 5 different major editions of the Bible, and they're really different.
I'm
There's like the King James Bible, the King James version, and then there's like the 2 other translators that translated it completely differently.
Mm-hmm. That's
Translation, I think, is like the big thing.
Yeah.
Because like how it gets translated again and again, and how like just the way language is.
yeah.
Like, not only that, but people don't know. Like sometimes, like when they translate, others don't know how well they're translating it. Like they're making like conscious decisions to write it like this specific way.
And the people that translate it are monks. Right?
Exactly.
Monks, they translate it. They have to learn Greek. They have to study these languages. But they didn't really speak it at the time, so we don't know how the people who originally documented Jesus' teachings documented it in Greek, you know?
That's John the Baptist in the Quran.
Yeah.
Zechariah?
Zechariah.
Zechariah?
Yeah.
That
John
is
the Baptist is Zechariah?
Yep.
Zachary. No?
Is it Zachary? Zechariah.
Well, Zachary is the westernized version of
okay.
Zechariah, but
So,
is John the Baptist Zach?
Yeah, he's on
Zach and John are the same name, aren't they? They refer to the same person, don't they?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but according to this, that John the Baptist was Zechariah. So you look. That's pretty cool. I like that. I feel like the 3 religions was like, if Star Wars started out the same way and then ended a different way and like took different paths.
It's like they're all like DLCs or different versions.
Yeah,
It's like
I love it.
it's like Christianity was a DLC on Judaism. Islam was like the DLC remastered.
Remastered. Yeah, I think
And
remastered
and
is
then
probably better.
Mormonism is like a reboot DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way after it's a dead game, it's like
Like,
we remastered it. Look at
A
this.
long time
Like
after.
they kind of dusted off the old copy and salvaged whatever they could.
Right,
Who was it? John Smith?
and then they put it in like Unreal Engine.
It's Unreal Engine.
Unreal
Is pretty-
Engine, like 2.
Yeah, there's not a 2.
There's not a 2.
That was
No,
very
it was
offensive
not
as a
John
graphics program,
Smith.
right?
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his
Well, I
name
just
for
made it
Mormonism?
John Smith.
Is it John Smith?
No.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
He was a Mormon, right?
Yeah,
Joseph
he was
Stalin.
the Mormon.
The Mormon.
Yep. He was born in Vermont, right? Is that Vermont? Sharon, Vermont?
Sharon.
Yeah.
He-
Very
yeah,
small town. And then died in Illinois.
Yeah, he didn't quite make it.
died in Illinois.
Oh,
He
boy.
died halfway on the journey to
Utah.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Dang.
Why Salt Lake City? I never understood that.
That's-
Why anywhere?
It's like that Beach Boys song.
That's what we should do this summer. We should have our journey to Salt Lake City. We should have a journey. Who's going to be Joseph Smith?
I don't want to date a 13-year-old. I'm good.
Oof.
Garrett. Or Noah. We'll do Noah. No, be Joseph.
He has a girlfriend.
We'll just say she's 13.
Okay.
You. I don't know.
It's okay, guys.
Muslims are especially they try not to. One of the principles of the religion is to not get overly involved in other people's religions. Yeah, it sounds wrong, but so that's why you're not supposed to mock. It's like look down upon to mock other groups in Muslim religion. So that's one of the things that I learned when my dad told me that. He was like, you got to stop. Yeah.
You gotta stop, son.
Yeah, you got to
No more memes.
no more no more memes. Yeah.
We gotta stop with the meme account, Yousef.
Let me tell
Or
you.
you're out of the house.
So I saw this one thing on Twitter. There's this one mom. She was like, memes are ruining our children. They are veering them away from the Christian faith.
I'm going to go ahead and assume that mother was way more detrimental to her kid than the memes were.
No, I bet.
Who,
She
Karen?
was like, these memes are supporting Nazism.
Well,
They are supporting.
You don't know what kind of memes her son was looking at though.
Well, all memes are morally good.
What about Jeffrey Epstein memes?
They're all good.
Good in what sense?
In
Like-
the moral sense.
Like
You know how you have instilled values from like Islam.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there are some undeniable truths that are moral in Islam.
Yeah.
That's like memes.
Jeffrey Epstein memes.
I think Jeffrey Epstein. You know they say he killed himself,
He didn't. There's no way.
but he.
There's no way.
There was no.
What?
It's all just wrong.
Do you, is he still alive? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
he's dead.
No.
Like, he's definitely dead.
All the Alex Joneses. That's definitely a Republican meme.
Yeah. It's also suspicious.
There's like 30 Alex Joneses.
Because guards don't leave people on suicide watch. Suicide watch people are not given the stuff to commit suicide ever.
I mean, he could have willed it.
What do you mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Sheer
Well,
will.
he didn't.
Yeah,
It was
right.
made to look like a hanging.
He willed his own death.
It was made to look like a hanging. But
Oh.
the thing is like all of the trauma from hanging is incorrect in how they did it, and there's like a needle mark somewhere on him.
Somewhere, how they determine that?
Maybe it was like
Well,
one of.
if you look at the body.
Like you see a picture, do they have a high res
Yeah.
picture of him?
This reminds me of this guy. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain.
Kurt
you
Cobain.
know?
Courtney Love.
I don't know who either of them are. He's a basketball player, right? Or
Yeah.
Something like that.
something like that, right?
I'll show you. Kurt Cobain. Yeah, Courtney Love definitely killed Kurt Cobain. Just like how the Clintons definitely killed.
With the Epstein hanging, it could have been like a front flip into the noose, and that's what caused the neck damage.
Oh man, don't you hate it whenever you're doing flip? Like
Just practicing, it's not even like a performance.
Well, here's what happened.
He's Nirvana.
They took all of his
Oh.
stuff out of his room
Yeah.
because he's on suicide watch, so he had nothing better to do. So then he started doing front flips, but then they decided to give him his rope back, and they already tied in a noose for him. And he didn't even mean to. He'd already restored his will to live, except he accidentally front flipped into the noose, which then closed in around his neck and broke his neck. And it was in a weird way because he was front flipping. That's the reason the
Yeah,
trauma's
that's
not
what I'm
right.
saying, man. You've not seen the big picture.
You're right.
Don't be so shallow in your thoughts, man.
So let's talk about Islam in relation to America.
Oh,
How's that going?
not good. America turns Muslims, and in general, the big issue right now is Muslim boys, Muslim kids in general. They have a pretty troubling time in America because their beliefs are very conflicting to standard American morals, and it's
Which beliefs are those that are in stark
one of the rough like the difficulties, especially in middle school. Middle school was really probably the worst part. I tell my friends, especially the girls at the table and stuff like that. We don't date girls because middle school is like, hey, who do you want to date? Are you gonna date him? You should date. And me as a Muslim guy, I've had values instilled into me by my parents, and I say no, I don't want to date anyone. And they say, what? And they say, do you like guys? That's no, I don't. It's horrible. You have that issue?
Oh, let me tell you.
You had that issue? Yeah,
Freshman year of gym class, okay? So I go they go like, so you don't have a girlfriend? And I go like, no. And then they go like, and then I say, no, I'm not gay, as he says, oh, so you're gay.
it's so bad,
it's
too.
like-
Because it's either go to gay
Or
or
you're
they say,
asexual.
yeah, they say
Like,
you're they say, oh, you just don't have game.
Yeah.
And-
Now let me tell you something. I'm not Muslim.
Yeah.
But I also am not interested in dating girls.
Yeah.
And I also have that same thing.
Are you gay?
I'm
Are you
not.
gay? Are you?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
Yeah.
like,
See?
But I've had people that just assume that, and it's like, no.
No, it's
Well,
like no.
Are those the only two choices?
Yeah,
Like,
they're like, okay, so Buster's just completely asexual and he doesn't care. It's like, no, it's just I'm trying to be responsible.
see, I'm not Muslim, but I date a lot of girls. Just kidding. No, I don't. I wish.
A lot of at the same time or
Well, he's had prominent girlfriends, is what
Prominent.
he means.
Yeah, I dated a 40-year-old once for like
4?
40-year-old.
four.
Okay.
No, almost.
I mean-
I got her number.
I heard.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Is that Miss Amy?
Yeah,
No,
she
Miss
was
Amy's
drunk.
like 50. Anyway.
No, it wasn't Miss Amy. God. Dude.
I heard this one thing that was like, it's fine to date people. Like, you just take your age, divide it by 2, and add 7. Yeah.
Right.
Divided by 2 and add.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's
Oh, I
age
like
old.
that. Yeah.
Oh no, like it works fine, honestly, unless you're like 100 years.
So, like,
I mean, even at 100,
Even
I
at
think that
100,
works
it's fine.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna use that.
It's good.
Yeah.
Old
Three.
people with
It's way better
you
than the
know,
whole
just
off the
changes.
clock system.
3 divided by
you know.
2.
If you're
8.5 and a 3-year-old. Wait. Not always, because if you go like,
No, it said standards. Though.
Okay.
It said standards.
so like me, 17, 8.5, 15.5.
Yeah.
well,
Hey,
Well,
if
not
she's
yet.
15,
That's
I'm
kind
15.
of. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, as long as it's a stable marriage.
It's
you know.
purely platonic.
Not
Hey.
platonic. No.
Yes.
There's no such thing as a platonic friendship between guys and girls.
Especially in Islam.
Yeah.
No.
Platonic, it's like, yeah, it might start off platonic, but you keep talking to the same girl for 2-3 years.
there's something.
There's gonna be something.
You
That's
better be
called
not
the
talking to
friend
girls.
zone.
Yeah.
It's the gap between
better
a
not be
girl
talking
and
Dude, I unfollowed all the girls off Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah,
I
fucking
clean
right,
wiped
you
them,
know?
man.
Good job.
It just felt wrong, man, because I had this issue. I'm like, I don't have an issue spending too much time on social media. Like, I track maybe like 5 minutes a day. But my question is, why do I sometimes go to Instagram and Snapchat and just look at pictures of people for 5 minutes? And I deep down I know why.
Yeah.
But I convinced myself, no, I just want to keep up with my friends and all that. So I did an experiment. I'm not an experiment, but I knew why. It's weird too. You're looking at pictures and then I noticed that I pause a bit longer when a picture of a girl comes up. And I'm like,
and she's
it's just wrong. It's not right. So
She's 8.
no.
she's 7.5. And
Oh no.
oh god.
I need to blow my nose.
Okay.
No, I just unfollowed them in mass, man.
Joke.
Joke.
Yeah.
Memes.
Honey, ja, purely.
Do you have a symbol like a?
Oh, Buster, can you
joke
edit
symbol?
in like
We
an,
need a joke symbol. Joke.
You need to have like a 3D
Joke.
laughing emoji just appear and like you know how it's chat, like,
Oh.
you know how you get a subscriber.
Yeah.
And it goes like that. Just have like that run.
I'm good actually.
I'll do it for you if you want.
I would like to say something about Islam.
Yeah.
It's fully misinterpreted throughout the United States.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
Like,
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why.
So
Did you
we
study?
live in one of the most Christian nations in the world.
Christian by population, not by practice.
Population, yeah.
Not by practice. Oh,
By
maybe.
population.
What
As,
about-
actually, I'd even say Christian as identity. People in America like to think of themselves as Christians. They do. And as a result, whenever they see people that are very much Christian that say they don't like Islam,
Yep.
they tend to believe it. The reason America does not like Islam is because of indoctrination. Almost all the beliefs actually do line up.
Yeah.
The most based on percentage is Mexico.
Okay.
Then the Philippines, then
Oh,
Nigeria, then
well-
Russia,
that makes sense.
then the Democratic Republic of Congo, Italy,
Congo's in a
Ethiopia,
country.
Germany, which is kind of odd.
Ethiopia?
Yeah.
Wait, is this by population or by percentage? That's
It says by percentage.
nope. Yeah, it's percentage.
Yeah, see, like, China's got that 2.1%. And then you have Australia, 52%.
What's
United
the other?
States, 71%.
Oh, Christian and Catholic are separated out though.
That's
doesn't-
stupid.
That's stupid. That doesn't count.
Egypt, 10% Christian.
Yeah, you see, the thing about Christians in America though, they're Christian by identity.
They're hypocritical.
But yeah, if you go to like people from the Middle East, right? Like my dad when he came to America, and other people, they come to America and then people here try to teach them about Christianity. Like, oh, you haven't heard of Christianity there?
It's
No,
sad.
no. In Egypt, Christians are number one out of 10 or 1 out of 5 in some areas are Christian, and number 2, they come to America and they're like, oh, you guys are Christian? Dude, in the Middle East, they fast for 40 days, not eating certain food items. On Christmas, they don't sit there watching Christmas carols and playing with under the tree, man. They go to the church late at night on Christmas.
It's because
man.
they actually
They're- yeah.
they believe the teachings and they practice.
Yeah, they
the religion.
practice them.
Here, we just have the identity. The people, the mass majority of Christians here just identify as Christian, and they don't actually believe it. They've been indoctrinated to believe it, and I know that sucks to hear. And I'm sorry to say, a lot of people have been indoctrinated, but it's true.
Oh, it's totally true.
It's been It's been instilled in them since birth, and that's the only reason they really believe it. A lot of the people in other countries have been educated in the religion enough to actually have conviction about their belief.
Yeah.
How many people during Christmas are actually feel blessed and feel actually are thankful for Jesus Christ being born?
Few.
Few.
No,
They're thankful for the Xbox their mom gave them.
Christmas has become
You know,
more
like-
of like a cultural thing. It's not really as much as
Right.
It's an
like
American culture thing.
religion.
And
Exactly.
it which is really wrong for Christians, because I mean,
Well, I mean, it
Dear God.
originated from pagan beliefs to begin with.
Well, yeah,
so
it was
Yeah.
Saturnalia
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Roman times, and then that evolved into Christmas. Just
wait, Santa Claus is real, right?
Saint Nick,
Yeah,
yes,
he does the devil's work.
yes.
You know, I think I think it's
Actually,
Completely.
kinda. He reimburses people for greed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, he really tells kids to keep it on the
you
up
gotta
and up.
prompt some.
He,
Yeah.
well, listen, this is weird, isn't it? You know what delayed gratification is? He teaches that to kids. Delay your sin and your greed
Yeah.
until Christmas Day, and then I'll give in.
It's
So
funny.
basically, he's just saying, be smart about your greed and envy and jealousy, and on Christmas Day you'll get it.
Mm.
If you practice that year long, you get nothing. If you
So-
practice it on Christmas Day and you reserve your negative feelings, you win.
It's like a reverse purge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would have to say the statement that I've heard people say Muhammad hates Jesus. That is
That's
the
not true at
I
all.
li-
dumbest
I don't
stuff.
know.
People are so ignorant. They don't even know. You cannot argue another religion if you know nothing about it.
Like, listen, I haven't blown up anything in years.
What?
okay?
Whoa.
Let me tell you.
Oh.
You
Okay.
didn't hit your quota, man.
Yeah,
Who's counting?
you know, suicide bombing isn't even allowed in Islam.
Oh
Islam,
yeah, no.
it's-
Literally,
yeah, it's
suicide
literally-
is so bad.
Yeah.
Like, cause not. I think one of the things personally is like, it's kind of out of greed, I guess. I don't know. It's selfishness.
Yeah,
Sorry.
my group in Marshall said that if you say that you're bad.
Selfishness.
No, that
What?
Did you?
Oh.
yeah, saying that suicide
That's
is
controversial.
yeah, it's self. Yeah, if you say
Oh,
suicide,
oh,
saying
yeah.
suicide is selfish is
No.
extremely controversial.
Definitely.
Because number one, that you're talking about people who've killed themselves. Number two, yeah, it's like, well, you don't. They say you don't know what they were going through, and
Yeah.
Then again, we do have to consider that the suicide bombers and the jihadists,
Yeah, that's not really their big
they
concern.
don't practice actual Islam.
Which is
Well,
like
yeah.
it's just like
Mhm.
actual. It's just like Christianity.
They've been indoctrinated.
Different
I'd
types.
say that's a more general statement. What it is they have religious leaders that push that extra section of it onto them. All the Muslims in the Middle East are basic. It's very hard not to be practicing in Christianity. You can be Christian and not be practicing by like not going to church that often. But in
Yeah.
Islam, you pray 5 times a day. If you're in the middle of work and everyone says, all right, let's go to the Friday prayer, and then you're not going. I mean, something's standing out. They know
It's
right away.
pressure. Like I tell
Yeah.
you, it's
They know it right away. You're not
successful,
practicing,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
which is good and bad. But I'd say it's mostly.
I think it's good.
I'd say it's just overall good.
because it's like
But
prompting you.
it's good if you're Muslim and if you believe in Islam. But if you're a non-Muslim in these Middle Eastern countries, they don't like it, right?
When do you think this whole like stigma that Islam is bad like originated? And like,
Well,
okay, I know
since
it's-
they've been going to war with the Christian countries since like what, 10,000 years ago,
so
1,000 years ago.
You think
Not
even
10,000,
if
not
9/11
10,000.
did not happen, like it would have
Dude, what's-
evolved to such like this level? You think it would have like?
The European nations have never liked the Middle Eastern nations at all. Ever. Not even the
Ottoman
slightest.
Empire? No.
Not the Ottoman Empire. They hated it.
Yeah,
You know, they
they
broke
did
that
not.
thing apart right as soon as they could. World War One.
The Ottoman Empire was kind of rough though.
Oh.
Well, at the end of it, it was rough. Yeah, they commit 3
Genocide.
genocides. Well, yeah, and you know the thing is that the Middle Eastern countries, they don't see them as like the Armenian Genocide was a big one, right?
Yep.
Ye-
They don't even acknowledge it.
Yeah, because the thing is the Armenian Genocide.
Yep.
Whenever a genocide happens, there's always a core reason for it, right? You don't usually genocide at people without reason, right? the Jewish Holocaust, the Holocaust genocide, the Jewish genocide.
Mhm.
The Germans were claiming that the Jews were causing trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bad and well, not just filth, but they were harming the country.
Right.
You can you can see like this group as bad, but if I don't like say this one cultural group, I'm not gonna go genocide them unless I feel like I've been attacked myself.
Yeah.
Right. The Armenian Genocide, at its roots, started when the Ottoman Empire started becoming very disdained with the Armenian groups at the top, because Armenia was at the Armenian people were at the border with Russia. They were like they were a Christian group under the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah.
At the end of the end of World War One, the Ottoman Empire started losing a lot of ground in the northern areas because the Armenians were promised autonomy from the Ottoman Empire if they won in World War One and joined them. So a lot of the Armenian people during the war were traitorous and actually turned onto the opposing side, the central. There's two powers with the Allied powers, right?
Yeah.
They turned onto the Allied power side during World War One, and they would pull traitorous moves during battle because if they won, if the Ottoman Empire lost, they got promised the land.
Yeah.
So as a result, the Ottoman Empire started pressuring the Armenian groups, doing death marches, to other locations, and it was messy after that.
Well, the worst part about it is that it was increasingly brutal because they didn't execute people.
Yeah.
They marched them.
Yep.
Which means the people that were actually fighting for freedom, which were like the middle age, were not the people that died.
Yep.
It
That's
was
the
the
worst
kids
part.
and the elderly, because those were the ones that couldn't take it. So these people were left without parents and without kids. And that trend continues in like the demographics. Even now, it's like bubbles,
Bubbles.
because there was one generation of Armenians
spread,
left.
Yeah.
So now, every now and then, whenever a generation reproduces, you can see, because it
Centers. around.
comes in and out.
Oh yeah.
Because everything else
Because
was
it's
killed.
that focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of kids the same age as you, though.
What else do we have on our things today? Because I was interested in talking. We've been talking on this topic for a while.
Well, we're going to talk about Chick-fil-A and
Oh, yeah.
Burger King and GMOs.
Let's talk about that. I'm going to Chick-fil-A after the podcast.
Right now?
Oh, really?
After the podcast.
Kinda
what
late.
he said.
It's like 8:30.
Are they open that late?
They close at 10. I'm an ex-Chick-fil-A worker.
Oh, really?
Yes. I would like to say that the Chick-fil-A's around this area are not Christian organizations. They're not. We are some of these are some of the few Chick-fil-A's around the country that do not have prayer groups. They don't have weekly.
That's a thing.
Yes, at Chick-fil-A's that is a thing. There's across the country, managers pray for people, and they have prayer settings, and if someone's going through hard times, they have to pray for them. That never once happened.
They have to?
Like that is expected usually out of a manager. Here, I have talked to managers that worked here. I'm not going to say any of their names. Actually, one of them, I'm not going to say anything. But we all agreed that this is not a Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A's around here are not Christian organizations.
It's West Virginia,
The owner told me straight up when I applied, this is not a Christian organization.
Well, I can,
and he's not talking about on a national scale. He's talking about the ones here.
I think this is furthermore, because we already talked about this. It's like this area is probably the heart of hypocritical Christianity.
Yeah, here in Kentucky.
Also, yeah. It's just all sorts of people associating with that identity without actually doing anything. Like, you'll see Christians that go out, have tons of sex.
Actually, maybe Las Vegas.
Well, they don't really identify.
They're just not religious in the first place.
That's a
Or
pretty,
New Mexico.
It's a pretty diverse place out in Las Vegas.
That's
Yeah,
true.
let me tell you, I went there.
Oh man, you've been to
Oh man, I hated it.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's
it
so
was
good.
so bad.
I
Oh my
love
God.
it.
No,
I
I was
hated
getting
it.
like a vibe of like, dang, I'm gonna do something. I'm just. Not, I feel the sin of other people, man. It's so disgusting,
It's
man.
called the city of sin. for
Yeah,
a
I
reason.
know, man. I just got this disgusting here whenever I
I
inhale.
like it, man.
See,
You like
he
that?
likes the sin. You guys obviously do not like the sin.
It's so different,
Poisonous.
Can't you?
It is like poison.
Mm-hmm.
It's a poisonous place.
It's
Let's
like
look
the-
up Las Vegas.
You do have to watch your step.
You know, it's like the mythology in the movies where you know, it's like not
It's like exploring your morbid side. You gotta be careful, but if you're doing it
exploring
safe,
your like. What do you mean?
it's almost like going to a zoo. You know, if you go to a zoo and like watch a lion get fed, or like the crocodiles getting fed, it's sort of like Las Vegas, because you see this display of just primal, just oomph.
Mm.
And you know, if you were in the cage yourself, you'd have a real problem. But since you're just there on the outside of the cage, you can watch and take it all in, and it's interesting. It's a huge change in scenery for sure. But
And like I'm seeing now, Las Vegas is a city. I've seen this before. I've watched documentaries on this. There are people living under the city.
yeah,
Dang.
They live in holes in like the sewage systems and whatnot, and they make like they somehow get electricity down there.
yeah, it's insane.
It's
so
crazy.
cool.
It's like the best, coolest homeless people you've ever seen.
Yeah, I didn't see many.
They do
homeless
drugs down
Wait,
there, and
does that even count as homeless?
I guess not, because they live in like
Yeah.
tunnels
Yeah, they
under
live
the
in.
city.
Yeah.
I didn't see many.
like
homeless
Batman.
people there. Like, they
Like,
were.
It's
like-
kind of scary too. Have you seen the videos down there?
Yeah,
It's pretty eerie. You can hear like loud noises from afar, and
but
like
if you were adapted, to that
Yeah, no, you
lifestyle,
probably
you
acclimate,
wouldn't care.
like-
yeah.
Dude,
But
we got-
imagine going home like after work and you have to go through a dark tunnel.
Well, they probably don't
Yeah.
work.
Well, I mean, yeah.
don't work
That's
to
right,
work
true.
to-
I was gonna say it's gonna be
the
like
work is in there, you know.
I imagine Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You remember that? They had to skateboard down the pipe. Just like,
You've gone home for the night. Yeah,
and
boys are
pizza,
home.
pizza, yeah.
Pizza. Here's a picture of one. 400 square foot bungalow.
400?
Yeah,
Good God.
it's a big flippin' homeless home.
20 by 20 feet isn't.
I mean, that's significant. That's a significant size to be in a sewage tunnel.
That's bigger than this room, wouldn't you say?
You think those people
It's
are
about
married?
15 foot across.
Yeah.
And then, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's probably what, 13, 14 feet by 16 feet, let's say.
That's no more than probably 15 feet.
15 feet. So maybe like 13 by 15,
Yeah,
which is what,
less than 225. And it's what is that? 195.
195? 195 square. It's just about half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which
that's a
is
good
pretty
deal.
impressive.
It's free.
For two people.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. 400
I mean-
square feet we say is small, but we are also expecting to pay for somewhere to live. Whenever you're not paying
Yeah.
for somewhere to live and you have 400 square feet, you're living on the moon, man.
It's true. They have books,
Good deal.
bookshelves, they have music, they have rocking chairs,
Music.
recliners, guitars.
I mean,
uh,
think about it. With
clothes
all the
and all that
trash,
pictures.
like, it's probably not that hard to acquire this stuff.
Yeah, they say they said that they get it from people's
Wow.
leftovers and all that.
Yeah.
the problem is property. Anyone can just come up and just. Be like,
Oh yeah, no, because
Well, they're not here for the night.
They're living very temporary lifestyle.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't mind.
temporary.
They don't think about the long term.
It's a very expedient place. Las Vegas is dedicated to expedience.
It's like as short term as you can possibly
Yeah.
think.
Gambling, prostitutes, drugs. It's all short term.
You could probably turn off their frontal lobe and that you wouldn't see any difference.
Right.
You could put a nail right through the whole frontal lobe.
I could see you living down there in the cage for like a week. Or
That'd be awesome.
that'd be crazy.
I've
It'd
thought
be
about like settling in a tunnel
awesome.
and like
The ba- it's
setting. Well,
the
think about
tunnel.
it. I'd
The,
set
tu-
like
the tunnel with Buster.
I'd
and
set like
Blur.
wood pallets above the water stream.
Yeah.
So that I don't get wet, and I could just like walk around in the tunnel.
We've been down in in a tunnel before.
I've
and
been in
crawled
several
through it.
tunnels. Yeah.
Me,
Caves
you,
or
and
tunnels?
Chris.
Tunnels.
Tunnels like
The
what about
tunnel.
like
Like
what
a
about the
tr-
tunnel next to Midland? You
That's
know?
the one. Yeah,
That's
we've
a
been
nice
down
one,
there
yeah.
together.
It's a nice
We
one.
Been
went
through
all
the whole
over.
thing?
Yeah, we
You
went
fit through the
together.
end?
Yeah, we went.
Before or after you lost weight?
After.
It was
After.
like a solid 3 months ago.
Yeah, maybe 4.
It was still warm. Like,
warm. It was warm
I
down
had
there?
pants and
Well,
a shirt.
it
on,
was
just
probably
t-shirt on.
it was probably 50 down there, but coming out it was probably 65.
Smelled great, felt great too.
See, my parents made a really good point about that tunnel though. Like they said, what if you found someone down there? What would you
Yeah,
do?
that's-
What if you found some kind of drug dealer or
But
something?
that's-
Just leave them till next
Well,
time.
think about it.
you know?
That's an experience you never forget about.
Yeah, because you have cut
Joe?
marks down your body and,
Yeah,
and
I was-
some type of STD or something
Well,
like that.
Okay,
Also,
you've got-
experience you never forget.
you're one story richer, you know.
Well, one story. if you tell the story, man, it'd be some. It'd be like a horror game, except the outcome.
Everybody would love the story.
Why don't we act it out real quick? You be Joe.
I'm Joe.
Who's
You're
Joe?
The
Who's
drug
Joe?
dealer.
The drug dealer.
Oh, okay. Without the mic.
Yeah, yeah, you can take them off just to make sure they don't get near it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wait, if I put it next to it, it'll have a
Feedback.
Can I
Yeah,
do
that'd
that?
be bad,
No, I
that'd be
won't do that.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Please don't.
Oh, just going through the tunnel. Oh my God,
Not that
there's
baseball
Joe. Oh, yeah, just don't hit me.
I'll
It's
use
like
it as a.
Shakespeare theater.
Oh,
Oh my God, there's a homeless person named Joe. What am I gonna do? What's Joe do?
Well,
How do you know his
say
name though? Like,
I'd have long hair, so I'd be.
you have to ask him.
Hey! Hey!
Sounds like Will.
I'd have a bottle. I'd have a beer bottle. It'd be
Oh my God, Joe, please don't hit me, Joe.
Hey!
Joe, I
Yeah.
will leave. I know this is your home. I'll just go right out the door.
Hey! It'd be like that kind of thing.
But would he be like this? Like, yeah, or he'd be like, yeah, like,
probably
get out of
like-
here, or be like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you.
Well,
Like,
it'd be more like I'd be naked. I'd be completely nude. It'd be like, yeah, it'd be something like that. And no, I wouldn't. What's the risk reward? You know,
Yeah,
the
what's
good
the
story.
benefit from all of this?
Okay,
Like,
good story.
Good
is
story.
that it?
But
Yeah.
the possible.
You
the
go home, you get to tell your mom about
Yeah.
Mom, and he went, and I was like,
There's a possibility. The worst case scenario, probably in that situation, is he's not gonna kill you.
No.
Most likely. I mean,
He can't.
it's a homeless guy
He's
down.
homeless.
the-
Also,
exactly.
let's consider that tunnel versus other tunnels. That tunnel, one end is on school property. The other end is beside an Exxon station.
That place sells tobacco though. That's like drugs.
Yeah, but they might.
tobacco.
But that's the hard end to get into.
Yeah, you have to.
So the likelihood of there being somebody hostile down there is very low.
And then-
However, the tunnel that you know where Tanyard Station is
Yeah.
with the new sheets.
They have a
and all?
tunnel there.
There's a tunnel.
Oh,
you know where
yes.
the skate park is, the Barboursville skate park.
Yeah, I go there all the
Yeah.
time.
If you walk back into that field all the way,
Past to
there's
the skate park.
yeah, past the skate park, all
That
the way
one's
back in the
good.
field, there's like a power station. Go past that, and you look to the right, and there's a tunnel. However, if you take note of the surrounding area, the veterans' home is up there on the hill. Sometimes veterans will buy alcohol, go down in the tunnel, and drink. So that tunnel is actually dangerous.
What's
and
the
it has
veteran gonna do?
satanic
Oh,
stuff.
huh?
all over
Well,
it.
veterans.
Oh, I
They're-
bet.
they-
It's scary.
some of 'em-
It's dark.
And this isn't like a generalization,
But
but
they
some,
can- yeah.
some of them can be mentally ill, and a lot of veterans that live in the veterans home have special needs,
Yeah.
unlike veterans that live on their own property. Actually, I looked up sex offenders in West Virginia around this area, and 14 of them lived at like one place, and I'm like, what is this address? Good God! And it was on Water Street. I'm like, is this just some sex offender house on Water Street? And then I looked, and it's the veterans home.
Dang.
Yeah,
Mind blowing.
and some of them were really aggressive too.
What do you?
Like-
Does it say aggression level on the?
Well,
Is
it
scale?
says age and the degree of the offense,
Oh,
and like there were some that were like first degree
Wait,
on a
whose
2-year-old.
age? Like their age or
That's
the?
pretty
The victim's age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were like there was like a 2-year-old, one that was against a 9-year-old. It's bad stuff. So you got to be careful about that tunnel as opposed to the other tunnel.
That one's a little bit more sketchier.
It's sketchy.
Even though
have you been in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
You make it all the way through?
There used to be an all the way through back when there wasn't Tanyard Station. It would actually come out at like the forest used to be there, and it was like there were leaves everywhere all the time, and you could see Route 60, and it was cool. Like you could let your dog run around in the water or whatever. But now
We used to hide there.
there's
during
not
Christmas.
really another side because Tanyard Station extends. There's no way I'm going all the way through because I think it might be like a drop off at the end of it maybe.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
Some
that would
swimming
be kinda
trunks
cool,
on.
you know?
Huh?
Swim trunks on?
Well, I guess, but that's drain pipe. So I don't know if that's your
Yeah,
best
it smells
idea.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Like from the homeless people, or?
No,
think-
from the water.
Oh.
Just like the other tunnel, the water smells disgusting.
Remember, it's Barboursville, West Virginia water.
And it's not the cleanest.
It's pretty good for West Virginia standards, though.
For West Virginia compared
No.
to like St. Albans.
No, the sage water. You guys tried the sage water? Like the bottled water?
No.
It's pretty terrible, honestly.
Oh.
It's pretty bad.
Well,
Pocahontas water's where it's at.
if we'd like to talk,
Okay, we'll sit down again.
Hey.
What?
we can afford to
I'll
talk
throw it
about
away.
food a little more. We'll focus in on GMOs a little bit. I'll just go ahead and say that I am a fan of GMOs.
Yeah.
They're the future. Like
Yep. I'm a fan of people who support GMOs. Because that's a very small subset of the population, and I know you're a quality person if you support GMOs.
There's no reason not to. The only reason that you'd be afraid is because you're ignorant and afraid.
Yeah.
What if I told you I am a GMO?
You might be.
You might.
I mean,
Have
aren't
you-
we
test
all,
tube,
you
baby?
know?
Have you wondered how weird my like psychology is all the time? You know,
No,
you wondered how weird it is. It's
What's
because
your grade in
I'm
there?
a GMO.
I don't recall.
I only got a 91 in there. So
Ooh.
That is kind of peculiar.
If
yeah,
you don't get an A in
I got
psychology.
a 3 on the test.
That's a,
That was the worst
That
I've done on
test?
one. With psychology.
You,
Yeah.
you got a 5, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I got a 3 on psych.
I'm sorry. I mean.
Hey, but guess what? I got a 4 on.
Hey,
Hey.
Hey.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a 4.
Yeah, 4 gang. You got a
Yeah.
5, right?
Oh, what a loser! Oh,
You got a 5?
I did.
What a
Congratulations.
loser! Gosh. Hey, let's all.
You
No,
would've-
no, you discussed
would
this.
have gotten a 5.
I
You
don't
would
know.
have
Maybe.
if you didn't have an emotional breakdown on the test.
You guys discussed this
okay,
prior
so
on the podcast. Buster getting a 5.
Yeah, we did discuss.
Yeah,
this
I
a little
remember
bit
that.
beforehand.
We've done it. We actually concluded that the AP US History exam was the only exam that can actually is qualified to measure intelligence.
yeah, I like that.
It's
So I'm like a solid like 80. I'm 4/5. So that puts me around like 120 to 200 IQ somewhere in there.
200, yeah.
If you get a 5, it's hard to tell how high it is.
It
could
was
Isn't
be-
a-
Logan the one with intelligence though? He's the one with super intelligence. Yeah. Like-
Logan is super.
Yeah.
Logan.
Yeah.
Logan who?
Atkins.
Atkins.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
Is
is he
it-
like? Is he like? I've known Logan for a long time. I feel like he
It's
is.
a superpower.
Oh
He has
no,
super
like
intelligence.
it extends beyond like
Yeah, he
human
actually
conceptualization.
like 98% of his brain is dedicated to keeping his brain in his head.
Exactly. Like it's always he dedicates just a small. He doesn't even that last 2%. That's not even going towards like his life. That's just extra. That's
Yeah.
just spare.
I don't like. You don't like waste, right?
I don't
And-
like waste.
And he's still like super genius.
You know.
That thing that people only use 10% of their brains is actually
It's
false.
very wrong. Your brain is almost all the time operating 100%.
Yeah.
Like it has
Like
to
what
be.
would even be the basis of the argument that it only 10%
Because
functions?
Well,
it sounds cool.
I've seen,
Like,
dude, I've seen some people at casinos, man. They don't have a single brain cell running.
Well, actually, the only part that they're missing is their frontal lobe.
I mean,
yeah, you're right. I mean, they got the hunger.
what percent of your
Yeah.
brain is the frontal lobe? That's like a good.
Well, it's not about percentage of size. It's about percentage of what separates us from animals. That from
The cerebral cortex.
Yeah, it's the ability to make decisions about the future in the long term and in the extensively long term. But as soon as you give that up, as soon as you focus on short term, you've given up your humanity, in my opinion.
Well, want me to tell you what separates us from animals?
Nothing.
This place right here. This
Literally
makes
nothing.
this makes us
Buster,
an intelligent
I mean,
species.
the proof is you're wearing clothes. They're not.
Hey, I put clothes on my dog.
That is what separates us from any other species. It's Chick-fil-A.
No, cows also endorse Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
cows
yeah.
and humans.
Haven't
You think
you
that
seen
cows are
ads?
Christian? You think they're Christian cows?
They have to be
Right? Like,
because they eat chicken. No other religions eat
is
chicken.
that like a Christian thing? Like Christians eat chicken?
I don't know.
Or
I
do you
think so.
Or do you think that's been like propagated because?
That's
of
just because
Chick-fil-A?
no, it's just
Right, it's a-
Americans
it's
because
a
they're like
following.
fat
Right.
Americans eating KFC.
Yeah, we're consumers here in America.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A started in College Park, Georgia. It was
I don't
originally
know.
called Dorf Grill.
I think people who eat at Chick-fil-A are like skinny college kids. I don't think
I
I've seen
think
many
people
fat
who
people.
run Chick-fil-A
Well,
are skinny
it's-
college.
I don't. I haven't seen many fat
Have you
people.
looked at the drive-through?
No, I gotta.
Actually, I've worked the little station near the drive-through that stands outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of white women.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
A lot of white women.
No,
That makes
Yousef,
sense.
Not,
No.
no.
Like the stereotypical white women too. The ones that go to Starbucks.
Oh, really?
No,
I think it's some of those.
I
It's a
think
lot of those.
That must be endemic to this area.
Maybe yeah. It's like a lot of teenage girls. White teenage
I know
girls.
they go for breakfast a lot to Chick-fil-A.
Oh
Dude,
yes,
Marshall,
breakfast
man?
especially.
Don't even think about eating Chick-fil-A at Marshall, man. The line is always from one side of the student center dining area to the other, man. You have to wait about 25 minutes. I'd
It's
say
so irritating.
25. It's like a roller coaster, except at the end you get Chick-fil-A.
Why not go to La Familia?
Not from what?
La
I'm
Familia
talking about
Express.
in student center.
Yeah, La Familia Express.
Isn't that they got rid of everything and redid the student center?
Yeah, and it's in there now.
Is La Familia?
Is it
Yeah,
gone?
it's the other one. Look,
Oh,
I'll
is it
show you.
yeah, it's done. It's nice. It's nice.
'Cause I like drive past it every day.
dude,
and,
go
like,
in there, man. It's nice.
Express.
Oh, the Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that place is pretty good.
It's,
I've only bought food from the student center I think once.
Dude,
What,
oh
do you
my
normally eat at
god.
home,
I don't.
or-
Yeah, I don't eat it at all at Marshall.
Dude, try their pizza. Oh my gosh. Right here. Try their pizzas. We had I don't know who, it was me and somebody else. We tried one of their pizzas. Dude, some of the best pizza I've ever
What were
had.
you doing at Marshall?
I went to Marshall 3 times last semester.
What?
Oh, did you know?
First school.
One day, whenever they do, I think it's the SAT day. Seniors are
Oh yeah.
just leaving the school.
To go where?
We're gonna go watch a dress rehearsal for some play.
Really?
Yep.
A dress rehearsal?
Wait, do we get fast food during this?
I don't know, maybe.
Because usually, like with Mr. Parks, we went to Charleston and we got Chick-fil-A.
You went to Charleston?
Yeah. For
Charles.
the
Was it
1980.
the Calais Center?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
For 1984.
They ruined
the
that
play.
place. They made it all kid focused.
I like the Clay Center.
Yeah,
like-
not
I
even.
like
Wait,
it.
have you not seen the
Well,
changes?
I have, but the reason that I like it still is that it's helping kids maintain the curiosity of learning.
Yeah, but I want to go there and I want to play with adult toys.
You could still do that.
I want an adult-centered museum. I want,
Well, you
The
can go to
Huntington Museum of Art. I think
No.
is,
You go to
very
the
good.
Culture Museum.
No, I'm not talking about a museum for psychopaths, dude.
Yousef,
anyone.
have you seen their
that stuff is-
interpretive dances?
Do you not like the Cultural Museum?
I haven't been there.
It's really nice.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's on the Capitol grounds in West Virginia.
Oh yeah, that one was nice.
Yeah.
I like that place.
It's good.
I shouldn't have made such a statement about
Hey, that's not it.
that.
Okay, guys, would you like to start the top 10?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Top 10 worst diseases.
It's from like our own perspective,
From our
based on
perspective.
how scared or our perception of it.
Yeah.
I'll
And
just keep this, rolling. Mine is, I'll have to look this baby up because I probably forgot half.
Like
of
your
them.
number 10 or?
Yeah, my
number
number 10.
one.
It's called the FOP disease. It's a tissue disease, so where your tissue and muscle turns to bone.
Oof.
Oh.
That's flipping scary. Like, can you imagine all your muscles in your body turn into bone?
Oh, so it'd be like
Imagine-
stone turned to stone.
Imagine looking at the remains of that.
Oh, dude, I think let me look at a FOP skeleton real quick.
Dude, it'd be like
Is that-
become rock hard abs.
Oh no, I think I know that one.
Right.
Yeah, see, look,
You
look,
know the one where you turn into a tree?
see how it's like
Oh, I hate
moss.
that.
Oh
Dude,
shoot!
Yeah, see,
That's scary.
It's
look
like
how scary that
blending.
looks. It blends in.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
That gives you
Scary.
extra strength, dude.
It's-
But you can't move.
No, Yousef.
You can't move.
Yeah,
It gives
you
you arthritis.
look at that. Look at that girl right there. That's scary.
Do you think that hurts?
That's a
This
dude,
is
actually.
really now.
Yeah, because he's like that. He
Yeah.
he
yeah,
feels like that.
Your muscles. Dude.
Okay,
That's
we'll go to
right.
your number 10 buster because we got 4 people, so it's probably gonna take a little bit longer. So,
Wait. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I made this a bit more personal, so I didn't choose any outlandish diseases. So my top 10 is salmonella, because it makes it so that you have to worry about eggs being dirty,
Gotcha.
and yeah, you can't eat raw cookie dough. It's a small inconvenience.
Yeah.
Pretty-
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, Ubay.
Yeah, I got The flu, you know, it leads into.
Flu is number 10.
Yeah.
You better have a good number 5, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you better watch out for number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, the flu's pretty nasty.
You know, it leads to bad.
Okay, my number 10 is granulomatous amoebic encephalitis.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you heard that
Yes.
second word, amoebic, this is a brain-eating amoeba
Mm-hmm.
that just they
I might have.
inflict necrosis on you.
It's necrosis.
Oh.
It's where you die.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably bad.
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit, yeah.
Yeah, it just eats away at you. It decays you. And it can also start. It usually starts. Well, it can't start anywhere, but it can definitely start in the brain.
Well, I mean,
Like-
if it's a brain-eating disease, wouldn't it have to?
Yeah, if you're like
Start in the
going,
brain.
if you're going like jet skiing in like the swamp and you get some water up your nose, you're done.
Oh,
You're done.
so optimally it would go up your
Nose.
yeah, nose. Yeah, nose.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to get in like an infected wound on like your leg or something because then it's going to be long and painful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So you're gonna die anyway, so it's better to get it in the nose.
Right.
Well, it's better to not get it, but you know.
It's much better to just
Ooh,
not jet ski in the
just
swamp.
not jet ski.
But there have been like occurrences of brain-eating amoeba at like Myrtle Beach.
Well, I mean that's
University.
Myrtle Beach. I mean they call it Dirty Myrtle.
Dirty Myrtle,
Yeah,
baby.
But come on,
Right.
we don't want that.
It's
around
like a
here.
human swamp.
Okay. My next one is sickle cell anemia.
Anemia.
Or
Anemia.
anemia. Did I say anemia?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Armenia.
Anemia. Sorry, gosh.
I said.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
guys. So it decreases the amount.
Let's put it up though.
Are you simulating the?
No.
the amoeba?
no. Okay. But so it reduces the amount of red blood cells in your body.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Well, you got
red,
sickle
Just
cells.
because.
So you start suffocating.
No, you just have, you have
It's-
sickle cells instead. It's a
So
different
what
type
they
of
do
cell.
is they end up like catching on like how
Yeah.
they split.
it's like a
If
life.
this is a normal blood
They-
cell, sickle cell. Oh, I didn't mean to hit the mic.
Oh, you're good.
Sickle cells are like.
Yeah.
So
No.
they like catch onto each other and like.
And it's a lifelong
Oh.
disease as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Like this is a lifelong thing.
However, it has a huge upside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
protects against malaria.
Yeah.
Malaria is a.
Well, we're
dog.
in America.
Yeah.
Malaria is not like a big issue.
But it's very useful for Africans.
No, that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
sickle
it's-
cell usually isn't it like a higher rate in Africans?
Yes.
Yeah,
'cause-
it's significantly higher. You know,
yeah.
the races do have different genetics.
Well, that's
Oh.
because of their
Yeah.
Okay.
geographic placement.
Let's see.
Right.
Let's see what your number 9 is.
This one's tetanus.
Tetris?
Tetris, yeah,
Oh,
tetanus.
yeah.
So it's always made me uncomfortable touching rusty objects because I know of the possible. You know, it makes you blind, right? Tetanus makes you blind.
Tetanus kills you.
It kills you. And I see rusty objects and it scares me.
Tetanus is really scary.
Yeah.
I think tetanus is the most underrated disease as far as being scared goes. Tetanus is bad.
Yeah. I've always
'Cause
been afraid of
you
like
go
rusty
blind,
gash.
You go blind and you get lockjaw, and then you
Jeez.
die. And
Yeah.
once you get lockjaw, it's too late. Like you're going to die.
Like,
Dang.
let me tell you.
So if you get lockjaw,
You can't even scream for help.
you can.
Yeah.
Hey, I had tetanus. I think I'm gonna die. I'll see you later.
Jeez. Oh.
One time
What is
Ooh.
that?
in Libya, I was on top of my grandfather's house, on his farm, you know. And there was like this ladder with just a bunch of nails sticking out.
Oh.
I was kind of curious, you know. So I was like stepping. I went to go step on a nail. I was curious, you know, dude.
Yeah.
And it went through.
I also
That was kinda
stepped on
fun.
a nail.
I didn't think it pierced the shoe, but you know.
Oh.
Same.
Curiosity.
I didn't do it out of curiosity. I did it out of
Okay.
out of clumsiness because
Oh.
this summer we replaced the porch
Mhm.
out there with some new planks. So we pulled up the old ones and they were all rusty nails and stuff.
Mm.
And I was stacking all these planks in a pile to throw into the dump truck over the side of the porch, and I had one board that was sticking up, and I was walking to put
Yeah.
it, and then all of a sudden,
Oh.
I was like, "Oh!" Like I felt something in my foot, and I'm like, "What is that?" And then I started shaking my foot, and it was stuck.
At least you didn't press
So-
down
so
harder.
what I did was I took my other foot, put it on the other side of the board, and pulled my foot off. Then
Oh,
I
yeah.
immediately went upstairs and cleaned it properly.
Sorry guys, that makes me kind of like
It's just-
nauseous.
I was pretty paranoid for the next little while if I was gonna get tetanus and die.
Okay. I'll be right back. I want to like kind of stop thinking about that. Like,
Dude, you're up next.
Yeah,
though.
you're up next.
wait, you guys all say tetanus?
Yeah.
I didn't say Oh wait, no.
Wait, no.
Yeah,
Well, he's going to me.
Yeah, I said
You said
tetanus.
yeah.
Oh, you said. Oh, yeah.
What do you say?
I said-
No, we just told stories about
Yeah.
nails.
So how deep did it go?
Like probably half an inch.
Dang.
It's not this pair of Sanooks, but I was wearing Sanooks, and they have a thin sole.
Yeah.
And the nail was probably that long.
Was it rusty?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you feel the rust going into your bloodstream. You get a burst of oxygen.
was it
You're like,
like a little-
ooh, get that iron oxygen.
I didn't feel anything like that.
It was more like the.
It
spooked you.
What
more
I did
of,
feel
like-
was probably adrenaline,
Adrenaline.
because I was spooked.
Spooked. Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay,
let's go on
no
to
more tennis.
number 9.
God.
I have
Number 9.
COPD. You know.
Oh wait, is that one on mine?
Colorado Police Department.
Yeah. Colorado.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. You hear like all these ads about it. That's about it.
What is it?
I looked it up. I forgot.
Look it up on the cover.
Yeah.
C
Cardiovascular.
COPD. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Oh,
Chronic
is it like your
inflammatory
heart
lung
stops
disease.
all the time?
Yeah, it's just wheezing mucus. That's not that bad.
What is that like if you smoke too much?
No.
I mean, there's
It's-
a bunch of ads about it. You know, you don't want to.
Yeah, it's that one old guy ad where he's like,
If you have COPD, then
Oh,
you
but-
can file for.
Most of the ads you got to watch out for, like the disease you got to look out for, is TB. You don't want that.
TB.
Tuberculosis.
Oh.
Definitely don't want that.
I want it.
I don't
have that in tetanus.
Well, I'm kind of greedy, so I kind of want everything.
Okay.
You think they?
Okay, my number 9, you guys are going to be surprised that this far up, but I just don't really care about it. It's not even relevant anymore. I'm not digging it. This is smallpox.
Oh, dude. Why is
Classic.
it so
Classic.
high?
It's actually not
Like,
on my list,
The,
but
the problem with smallpox, like, there are still, like, occurrences of plague every now and then, somehow. But smallpox is, like, it's just done.
Mm-hmm.
You're more
Like,
scared of big
eradicated.
pox.
Like, you guys aren't afraid of Hitler anymore. He's done. He's dead.
Well, actually, so I was playing this game and
Okay.
the final boss was Hitler, but
What's it, Wolfenstein?
no.
Oh, I played that on my calculator, dude. I
Yeah.
almost beat that, but it was
But
hard.
it turns out it was actually a manifestation of all of humanity's desires.
Hitler wasn't that. He
Well,
wasn't selfish.
In the localization, they had to call him the Führer, so I guess
I
I,
think
didn't
he
want
may
to
have
fight
been.
against Hitler.
He might have been a little selfish, but I think it could have been worse.
he was
It could
pretty
have been
bad.
worse. Yeah.
Anyway,
You know who saved the day?
Hitler. He killed himself. No, he killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you like
'cause
Hitler's killer?
America.
Huh?
Do you like Hitler's killer? The guy who killed Hitler. You
Yeah,
like him?
he was very valiant, wasn't he?
Whoever killed Hitler and the CEO of racism,
America thanks you.
America thanks you.
And we're also going to model our society after you.
Okay. Number 8, liberalism.
Okay.
It was actually the Brainerd. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Brainerd diarrhea that originated in Brainerd, Minnesota in 1983. It's sudden onset watery diarrhea that comes from not drinking or from drinking raw milk and untreated water. So let's just say you're sitting in Minnesota. It's
So
night.
it's just people that ignored Louis Pasteur.
Pasteurization. Yeah, exactly.
So you're sitting in Minnesota, Brainerd, Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1983. You're drinking your raw milk, okay, on your couch.
That's 1 year
Sucking
off
it
of
straight
George
from the
Orwell.
teeth, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're sucking it straight from your cow.
Dang.
Hey,
And
you're
then
not
all
gonna
of a
get
sudden,
smallpox, you know.
all of a sudden, like explosive diarrhea,
Wait, is it? It's
freaking
sudden,
watery,
right?
sudden out of
Sudden.
nowhere.
It's like a
You
shotgun
just get a
blast.
little rumble tumble in there.
And it's loud too. It's like
you're
really
in
loud.
physics, right?
Imagine you've got a
Like-
nice You've got a nice new leather couch made from the leather of the cows that you raised, and you're so proud of them. You're drinking the milk from their children that are still alive, and then the ghost of the cows.
He urges you. He urges you to.
Oh gosh, oh, it's everywhere.
Thank you, Blower, for your input.
You know what's worse than
That was
that?
a classic.
Cool.
Hemorrhagic
Hemorrhoids?
diarrhea.
What's that?
It's whenever you hemorrhage through diarrhea.
Oh no, that's poopy soupy right there. It's blood.
No, that's bloody poopy
Yeah, it's
soupy.
bloody poopy soupy.
Gosh. Okay, next.
Dude, I love that term.
Dang, I'm
poopy
hungry
soupy.
now.
Oh, there's a golf course in Brainerd.
All right, Yousef, what's your number 8?
Rabies.
Oh man.
Classic
I
as
just,
well.
I just, it just sounds. It's not very common, not very influential, but it just sounds scary. That an
It's
animal.
pretty influential.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Bad.
it's like he just runs around and like.
Sounds like an animal.
So-
Yeah.
It can be a
it's
death sentence, too.
Dude, I think a good video game would be like an animal killing simulator where it's like you put down hordes of animals with rabies.
What about
That's-
one where you are the animal?
That's maybe one of the most controversial things that's ever been said on this show.
Oh no, well, but it'd be like
Put down
it wouldn't be like guns or anything. It'd be like baseball bat, old fashioned. You just gotta beat down on raccoons
Wow, it gets
and
worse and worse.
then, and then dogs and yeah, that's, the final boss.
Yusuf, you can't say dogs. You can't say you're gonna beat up dogs.
Well, no, if they have rabies, you gotta put them down, like,
Michael
and you gotta
Vick.
put them.
Michael Vick.
Oh,
The
man.
trailer would be, you gotta put these animals down hard.
Okay, next.
Man, we're gonna
Ubay.
get PETA called.
Like Filthy Frank. Filthy Frank got PETA called because he fed rats
Yeah,
to,
'cause the
or
rat-
mice
Oh
to
yeah.
snakes.
Snakes.
He's like betting on his. Let's go. I've been doing this for a long time. Okay, next.
I have asthma.
You have asthma?
Yeah.
I don't like you
As
anymore.
number 8.
Oh,
And I have asthma, but that's besides the point.
Asthma can be scary if you have it. Otherwise, not very scary.
Well, is that genetic?
No, it's kind of stinky, honestly.
Wait, it's not genetic?
Maybe. I don't-
If it is genetic, would you consider like not having kids just to remove yourself from the gene pool?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Oh
What
no,
a
no,
hero.
I am. For the betterment of humanity, I will kill myself.
Oh,
That's against religion.
yeah, and you don't have to kill yourself. I mean, it's too late now. I mean, but just don't pass on your genes.
Yeah.
Just don't have kids.
Just
bro.
don't have kids, man.
It was metaphorical.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a
like a metaphorical
Like,
killing.
ah.
I'm sorry. We're,
So listen.
So what'd you get on the AP Lang exam? You said.
yeah.
This is a message. You have asthma. Therefore, you need to adopt.
Oh,
Oh,
no adoption in
dude.
Islam.
Can you not?
You're not allowed to
No,
change
no,
the name.
you're not allowed to take their.
You can't have them change
you
their
can
name.
adopt
Oh, that's
them.
You
fine.
can't tell
You
them
can-
I'm your parents, and then they find out at the age of 12. Oh wait, I'm not.
You
You're
can be their
not your kid.
guardian.
Yeah, you can be. Oh yeah, it's very promoted. I mean, it's like I think
Oh,
orphan is like
yeah, no.
one of the most mentioned words in the
You get
Quran,
some
man. I mean,
points
it's
for that.
Yeah.
it's so often mentioned. You get bonus points.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
Get some
let's
good
see
ones.
what your number 8
My
is.
number
Buster.
8 is mad cow disease.
Oh yeah, that's a
That's like s-
biology.
Wait, so smallpox is above mad cow?
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, because prionic diseases are way scarier. Because they inflict you with like psychosis and stuff. Just
Take some-
don't
stick
eat
some shrooms,
incest cow brains. You will regret
Incest?
it.
I like
Incest
but-
cow brains?
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
regret it.
Okay. My number 7, I believe is 7.
Also, don't feed cow to cow. Bad
Okay.
idea.
I think that's generally a good idea. Don't
Hindus
feed
probably
animal
should
to
look down on that.
Insert animal you're going to eat.
Mine is CJ disease. So it's a fatal degenerative brain disorder. So we'll start with memory loss, and it can last for a long time. But you transmit it through contact with infected tissue and eating contaminated meat. But eventually will start to degenerate the brain, which is not good. No bueno. That's just like Buster's, I guess, that he had earlier. But yeah.
My number 7 is Alzheimer's. I just don't like the idea.
It's pretty spooky.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's pretty.
definitely.
Yeah, it is spooky. Hopefully one day we can eradicate Alzheimer's.
We can. Like, it's one of the most promising.
We just gotta fund it, you
Things.
I
know?
thought you were gonna say something like crazy, like kill off old people or something like that. I was waiting on the punchline.
I don't think that's really
No,
like stopping
I'm
it,
not.
you know?
I'm not one of the kill old people. I'm not a liberal.
Okay, liberal.
Libertarian.
Checkmate, liberal.
No. Oh yeah. No. That's
I say that a lot.
I used to. And my dad told me.
Now, boy, you're not gonna say checkmate, liberal one more time, boy.
I don't think that's how his dad
I don't
sounds.
think he says boy really.
He doesn't say boy. He
His
says.
dad's not a red
He
dad.
doesn't say boy, like,
He's not at all, but it's just like the stereotypical American dad sounding. You know,
hey
like,
sport.
Hey,
What's up,
sport.
Tiger?
what's up, Tiger? You're not gonna say that word anymore, and if
Yeah,
so, we're gonna
I
have
don't
a
want to hear
brawl.
liberal in your mouth anymore.
That's what he said.
Listen here, boy. You say liberal one more time, you're out of the house. Okay.
It's one of those movies. One of
Anyway.
those, I hate it. It was like, this is made by a bunch of liberals. Look at this story. You know, it's like one of those feel-good movies about, this population. They're like, oh, we gotta make friends. We gotta make peace. You know what happened? No, I think they should have went to war, man. These.
Oh.
I didn't mean to do that, and I looked down. I was like,
Oh, that looks like a.
That's a bird. That's a bird.
That's a uterus.
I looked down. I was like, wow, I'm making a uterus.
You know the eggs are.
No, he's.
Let me make some babies real quick with this
I heard
uterus.
you make it all the way here. Then.
How about we?
Anyway, my number 7 is Ebola.
I'm just gonna talk.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Thank you. I
Oh,
like
what a
applause.
that's a poser disease.
Wait.
You gonna
What,
snort that?
What was Yusuf's?
yeah. What was your 7?
I said Alzheimer's.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Oh, you guys
That's what
forgot
got us
about
on
that
the tangent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So yours
Ebola.
was
Poser.
Ebola, you know.
Now
It's a poser disease.
it's
You know.
not.
You know Ebola's from
It
West
is.
Africa.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where Ebola's from.
Yep.
Ebola probably has one of the scariest disease origins. of
Bats.
any.
There was like a
Oh,
bat.
dude,
Well, what
have
they
you seen
did-
the documentary?
Yeah, they
dude?
torched
Yeah.
a tree full of bats and ate them.
Yeah, that is pretty
That's
scary.
scary.
That's 'cause they were hungry, dude.
And then they got a blood disease that makes you.
Are you
hemorrhage out of
shaming their
everywhere.
African culture?
Yeah.
I don't think it was
Yeah.
even like.
That's ignorant.
Yeah, I think it's okay to shame culture. I hate that, man. I hate these colleges. They're
Yeah,
like, we gotta
no
respect
liberals,
culture.
right, Yousef?
Yeah, no, I don't say liberals. I just don't like how they say you gotta respect cultures. Nah, if I'm taking over a country and I find a bunch of like native practices, they're killing their kids and burying them because they think it's gonna bring good health. I'm straight up I'm gonna be like, nope.
There's a limit. Like if they're practicing like their own religion and doing like a rain.
Yeah, as long as it
If
doesn't.
if they're having ceremonies that I don't believe in, cool.
Ah.
But if they're eating diseased bats,
Yeah,
and
it's like-
spreading Ebola,
Be like, say goodbye to your culture.
No,
I'm
the
about
thing
to.
is, the
Expecting
kids
that.
just did that for fun. Like they were just like.
No,
Walking
I don't know
around.
about
they
that.
were hungry, they wanted a snack.
Yeah, no, exactly. They were walking through the woods. The one big kid finds a stick on the floor. You know. Some
I eat
bats
a
up
bat.
there.
It's a mammal. I'm all about that mammal gang. You know.
Hey,
Is that red meat?
Yeah.
Dude, that could cause
Definitely.
some CJ disease.
yeah, it could.
All right. My
okay.
number 7 is tetanus, which we've already spoken
Oh
about.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
But yeah, tetanus is no joke. Everybody watching, get a tetanus vaccine or you're a moron. Like it will kill you. Just get a vaccine.
Just the vaccine needle is like rusty.
Oh, dear God.
Well, you've already been vaccinated. Just hope the vaccine works faster.
Exactly.
Oh.
All right.
I
So
hate
do you
that.
give a
That was-
vaccine to a
it's so
person
bad.
who has
Your
the
number 6
disease?
blower?
My number 6 is meningitis.
Ugh.
Meningitis.
Meningitis,
So why are you afraid of meningitis?
So I'm afraid of
'Cause it has
meningitis
men in the
because it
name.
just sounds creepy. Let me read the description for it. An inflation, inflammation, or swelling of the protective membranes covering the brain and the spinal
Oh, that's fine.
spinal cord.
Spinal cord.
Spinal cord. It spreads by airborne droplets and critical. Needs emergency care.
Doesn't sound that bad.
Honestly,
It sounds pretty
Sounds like a
bad.
headach.
like you know MS. Yeah.
Meningitis.
MSG.
No.
And it has the word men in it, so.
Yeah. That's a
Right.
big. That's a big one right there. You know.
Also, ginge, which can also be found in gingivitis, which is very scary.
Gingivitis. So not from
You gotta brush your teeth.
You can't get married if you have bad teeth.
You're right.
Who's gonna want you?
No one.
Number 6 is influenza for me, but we already went over that. It's just I don't like getting the flu shot each year, and my parents tell me I'm gonna die if I don't get it.
Probably.
So it's like,
But
take the risk with the vaccine.
That's a risk I'm willing to take.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay.
I took AP Calc. I'm not gonna die after doing that.
That's reasonable.
You're
That's-
right.
You're too far in.
You have a number 6, buddy?
Oh yeah.
He's busy getting a phone call.
Oh wow.
Anyway, I put bubonic plague.
Wow.
Just the bubonics, like specifically that one.
You didn't like. You're okay with
All
the
of
Black
it.
Death.
You're okay with the other two, Black Deaths.
It had good costumes,
Oh, yeah.
man.
No, it's-
That's about as scary of a costume as it
The
gets.
Plague Doctor mask.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't get scarier than that one.
But it works.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So why don't you like the bubonic plague?
It's kind of scary, you know. You learn
What?
about
That is without a doubt one of the scariest diseases.
I think it's
on just sheer terror factor. That's like one of the scarier ones.
It was more of a European thing, though.
Well, yeah, but there's still cases reported every now and again. Like there have been like 3 in the last 20 years in the United States, maybe.
like pop up.
I can't sympathize with
It was
that.
in like
you know.
Kansas.
You can't.
Holding us back. They're bringing us back to an older era.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, my number 6 is the septicemic plague.
Septicemic, is that one of the bubonic, the Black Death?
It's just a bad plague.
Septicemic?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
you know, of like all the bad plagues.
What era? What century?
I don't know.
It's just bad.
It's a bad
It's just
plague.
Bad. Yeah, that's all I know. It's bad and I don't like it. It's
Mhm.
scary. It's got a scary name.
So what's next after septicemic plague?
So let's see. The aqua allergy is what I like to call it.
That's
It's got a
so
long name.
fake. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
So
They're
it's-
saying
Well,
I'm allergic to water.
2 people have it.
It's like 2 or 3.
How do they live?
They
then?
have these extreme rashes.
They're not allergic to the water in their body. They're allergic, like it's the skin contact with water. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
imagine being a swimmer though. Like,
Dude, they just gotta man up,
You just
man.
don't swim.
You know, I can sympathize. I get it. You know, the pool is cold, man.
Man,
but
man up, take a shower.
yeah,
Exactly.
Come on.
oh, dude, they must be like very stinky.
Man, you
You
stink,
know?
yeah.
like,
no, they gotta dry
Hey,
clean
take
it.
a shower.
They can probably use alcohol-based cleaners.
Whoa.
you want to wash your whole body with alcohol-based cleaners. You know?
Isopropyl
I
alcohol.
bleach. It's
Ah!
it goes up your.
Which hurts more?
Digestive tract.
Showering in water or showering in alcohol for them?
They could probably beer maybe.
Beer.
Why
Beer.
beer?
Yusuf, this is all haram. You know?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Stuff for a lot.
Okay, what's next, boys?
Well, I did Black Death because I like the costumes.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
Pretty spooky.
It's like the rat disease.
Yeah, but I mean, the Europeans had it coming though. I mean, that's what happens when you don't improve your technology over 500 to 1,000 years. It's like Dark
You're
Ages.
right.
You know,
No,
get over it. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, your number
Oh, yeah.
5.
Dementias.
Dementia.
Just the various forms of dementia. Yeah, dementia's pretty
okay.
scary.
Cause it's like, you know, I mean,
Have you guys seen artwork done by demented folk?
You can't do artwork.
Blower, look up dementia artwork.
no, cause they remember like motor functions. They just don't.
Yeah, but a critical part of art
It's
is
like the,
remembering what form looks like.
The Japanese.
That's not dementia artwork.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's creepy. Because the facial features are really
Yeah,
warped.
look at that.
Yeah.
It's not touchscreen.
See,
You see that?
Yeah, it's not touchscreen.
see, there was a Japanese, hotel, or restaurant, where it was only dementia people working as hosts. And yeah, you know, it
This
was a
is
good,
why they have
good
robots
time.
now. You know, doing
Oh, yeah.
the serving.
Definitely, you need them.
Yeah, it was a good time. You didn't know what you were gonna get. That's what I
Ooh.
heard. So it was a little bit.
So wait, whose is you said dementia?
Yeah, my number 5 is rabies.
Oh, I already said that.
Classic.
But
you know?
I think we underestimate rabies. Like we're
Makes
like,
you go blind, right?
rabies not a no. Rabies also kills you.
You guys have gone. You had this exchange like 4 times. Yusuf goes and goes blind.
Well, I mean, once you're dead, you're dead. But
Yeah,
you know,
but
the experience
I
up
thi-
to
it's scary too because we have pets. We have a lot of pets in this country.
We're-
So if you have a cat and it gets rabies, it has to die.
I'm telling you, the
just play
video
that
game,
game.
man.
Yeah,
We gotta,
just
we
play
get the
that
video
game,
game. You
you
gotta
know?
desensitize the population.
You're right. But like, they have to die. And then the thing is, like, you probably have to take it to the vet to kill it,
Mhm.
Like,
which means you probably there's a good
Euthanize,
chance you
yeah.
get scratched. which means you probably get rabies too, and then you have to get a really painful shot in the rear end.
Ooh.
Booty.
And the worst part about it is that
Posterior.
there's a chance that you didn't actually contract rabies, but you still have to get the
you
shot
still-
just in case, because otherwise you'll die.
Or get blind.
Or get and then.
And
Anyway.
you lose like your motor functions properly, and
Ooh. Electric motors.
Okay.
yeah, it's bad.
General Motors.
General Motors.
Yeah.
Next on my list is H5N1 influenza A.
What's
Um,
that?
what?
Well, why that specific?
Because it's a 60% chance that you're gonna die.
No. There's no way. I don't believe it. I don't believe in disease like that. This is 2019.
It's not real.
That's 2020.
It's
I don't
too
like-
specific to be real.
H5N1. The bird flu.
High five.
It is-
Oh, it's
Ah.
bird flu.
Avian flu.
That's why,
Yes.
I prefer avian.
Ornithology. Dude.
dude.
Okay. Next, I better go. I'm not gonna sit here and explain it because we all know.
What's
It's
number?
9:16.
What am I
Ah,
on?
good.
Number 4?
Poor B.
Oh, 4.
Tell the cameras
Why?
they're watching us.
Well, it's not live.
It's not live.
No.
No, it's not live.
He said he's gonna put it on Sunday.
No,
Nah.
this one will come out next
not
Sunday.
this one. I mean the prior one. Yeah.
See, look what I'm about to do. I'll prove that it's not live. Robert De Niro, moi.
Oh my god.
You
Your
guys-
turn.
if you're a true basement fan, you'll know about.
You know Robert De Niro.
Dang it! I guess.
If you're a real one.
If you're a real one, you'll know all about Robert De
Nothing happened. I don't like cables getting yanked. Cables getting yanked.
Niro. Don't yank my cables, Yousef.
I think it might help to remove the.
Oh man, I'm so sorry about.
The
Yeah, can you?
cable.
Alrighty.
Yeah, my number 4 is yellow fever and malaria. I think it's really unfortunate because it's held Africa back. Nah, I mean you can't focus on improvement when you're focusing on dying. And it's really cumbersome with the Panama Canal. You know how many people died in the Panama Canal because of those
Tons.
diseases? And it's ridiculous. All you have to do is dig, a channel, and the mosquitoes. If they're, either we eradicate that disease or we eradicate mosquitoes.
Well, it's just so tough to contain.
Yeah.
And so are mosquitoes.
It's I don't know what the solution is other than like mass climate destruction. So.
Well, we're on it.
Yeah, we're on our way.
We're doing it, Yousef. We're on
Yeah,
it.
it's like that song.
Okay, we better keep going. Ubay.
Oh, I put smallpox at 4 because it killed 40% of all human population. Estimated. To
Well, it was a bad
Overrated.
That's 40 billion people. Just saying.
40
Human
billion.
What?
Human population as a whole
Oh.
is estimated to be about 100 billion.
Wait.
So that's 40
It's
billion.
killed 40% of all humans.
of all humans ever.
My ranking is bad.
Actually, it's car wrecks. Number one. Car wrecks have killed 95% of all humans ever. It's like
Not
we
too
want.
sure about
What
that
if the
one.
leading cause of death in America wasn't old age or heart disease? It was car wrecks.
What if we
we'd
just
be,
walk-
we'd be-
I wouldn't drive.
What if we
Just
walk
take the
outside?
plane everywhere.
Dude, well, I mean,
We
look at
walk
the-
outside and everyone's just God and get hit by cars and car wrecks.
There's some countries, man, where their leading cause of death is like car wrecks. I mean, as you move more and more like Middle East, man, like some of those,
Oh,
even
dude.
in the Middle Eastern countries,
Okay, well,
it's like a roller coaster.
Anywhere not in the United
okay,
States.
listen, Libya, there are traffic lights, but are there really traffic
Yeah, they're more like
lights?
recommendations, man. It's like passive aggressive
Okay,
recommendations.
let me tell you a story. So my dad, so we went to Libya this summer. But I didn't go
You're
with
from
my
Libya?
dad. No, I'm actually from Liberia. It's
Oh,
Libyan, like,
small dude.
I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate Liberia.
You're from Liberia?
Dude,
I didn't.
Lebanon has a place called Tripoli, and
Oh.
Libya's
Yeah, yeah.
capital is Tripoli. And oh my god, dude, you wouldn't get it. But
I always
anyway,
had trouble believing in Liberia.
Tripoli.
I know it's kind
Yeah.
of fake.
It's
you know?
like I can't believe that we actually
They
made a
actually
country.
did.
Yeah.
I know. And kind of stuffed a bunch of people
I
in
know.
it. you
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's just no way. 'Cause
I
it
was like,
looks
Papa
almost-
Stead, is this truth? And then he's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Is this truth?
If this is truth.
Just read it in this book right here, the Holy Book of AP US History.
So anyway, my
Um,
dad tells me a story. There's this one dude. He has the indicator to the left, right? And then
The
but he
blinker.
turns right. Okay,
Yeah.
and then the guy behind him is confused. So the person in front of him has like a truck with like a bunch of watermelons, right?
Yeah, that
He
sounds like
runs
easier
into
for me.
him. And then he goes like, the dude who did the signal wrong, he goes like, "Shin dakhlik fil fletcha," and then mashin limin, which means,
Shindiak.
what? It means. It means who cares what the signal says? It's where I'm going.
Dang, that's some mood right there.
Yeah, I was
Some
curious.
mood.
Libby's are big brain, if you couldn't tell.
All right.
Lower, I think would fit nicely.
I'm gonna go Liberian.
My number
Oh.
4 is Ebola. Enough said.
Oh yeah,
Were
you
you
know
doing-
Ebola has that 90% kill rate, right? Mortality rate. No, 90.
It's
like-
pretty big.
it's pretty You know, Blower, we're on to number 3 now.
No, wait, what? CCHS. You
Is
can't
that a high
breathe
school
while
one?
you're sleeping. You can't breathe while you're sleeping.
Oh.
That sucks.
Yeah.
What?
You know, if you have
Sorry, guys.
polio, then you can't breathe while you're awake, you know?
You have to get in the iron lung.
I feel you.
Okay. I'll toss the ball over to you.
No, don't toss the ball.
Yeah, let's toss the balls.
Like Mr.
The ball.
Spoon.
Toss
Singular.
singular ball.
Yusuf, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is diarrhea. I don't know if that's a
Is it
disease.
not
explosive?
I
Is
hear
it
people
regular?
die
Not
from
the
it.
other one.
And
Not the other one. You're like, oh,
How about we take it a step further and call it cholera?
Yeah, something like that. I just think the worst way to die. Is just
Cholera
like,
is the one where you die from diarrhea.
Yeah.
all the time.
I
It
think
puts the die in diarrhea.
yeah, the worst way to die is butt first, is what I heard.
Yeah.
All right, I'll toss the ball over to
I'm fine, I don't want the ball.
You get the ball anyhow.
Oh.
My number 3 is Tay-Sachs disease.
No.
what?
Yusuf, do you know what Tay-Sachs
No, I don't know. I'm not laughing at it.
It is not good. It kills
Tay-Sachs
babies.
Are you sure it's pronounced like that?
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's like a genetic.
Tay-Sachs.
It's a genetic disease, man.
Anyway, yeah,
Tay-Sachs disease.
yeah, it kills babies pretty much.
Oh.
It's pretty bad, you know.
Alright.
I thought that was like abortion, like not the same thing.
Well, your number like 9 was liberalism, so I mean.
It's number 1, abortion. Planned Parenthood. in
Buster,
general.
would you like the ball?
I would.
He just zoned
Alright.
out.
Yeah, smack it, dude.
My number 3
Yeah. Smack
is
it.
all the strands of the Black Plague, not just the bubonic plague, because the bubonic plague, it looks the worst and it probably feels the worst on the outside, but the actual like pneumonic plague is really, really vicious and like I don't like I don't like not being able to breathe or anything, so you know I just I just don't really care for that one. It's kind of spooky, you know.
Let me see some of that.
And
This is getting cut out.
It's artwork, guys. Gosh.
Oh man, I denounced anything that's
Anyway.
taking place.
You know, Coach Brian McNeil was telling us about how your insides are actually the outside.
it's a creeper.
It's just spore creation. Blower.
Oh, it's getting
Number
longer.
2, Blower.
Took the pills. Number 2, Huntington's disease.
We live near Huntington.
It's where you have to eternally live in Huntington, West Virginia, for the rest of your life.
Oh God, I see why it's number 2.
Why is this one like?
What?
Is it off?
Wait, what?
Has it
Why
not been
is-
recording?
Wait, why is it like that?
What?
Why is it black?
It's
Oh, well, that's the color the camera is.
it's black. Is it off?
Screen.
Is it off?
It was recording like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, it's probably unplugged. Yeah,
Oh.
it's unplugged.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Oh.
All the fun stuff happened on that one.
Well,
No
all
kidding.
we can see is get thrown over there.
So it's only us.
Yeah, so
This
I'm
happened
gonna
the
put
first
I'm gonna
time.
slap like some footage of something.
Here,
Well,
I,
a static
I have
picture.
some
Oh,
footage.
God.
for
Okay,
you.
I
do?
actually gotta
Yeah.
start going. We've been here for 3 hours.
All right.
Oh.
Who's number 2? Is it?
No, it's Yousef.
Yousef.
Oh, well, my number 2 on the little, it's leukemia. You just don't like
It's
it.
bad.
Blood disease. It's all in your blood.
Hurts.
Hurts.
It's kind of spooky.
Kids too. No,
Yeah.
no.
You can.
That's a long one right there.
Oh, it's going. It's going.
Oh, no.
It's going.
It's dripping.
Oh,
Oh.
it's dripping.
Drippy bippy.
All right, you're number
I'm
2.
gonna hit it with the bat.
Cancer.
Oh, just in general.
Just in
You
general.
can hear the bass, man, whenever you hit it.
Here's why I'm not really afraid of cancer.
It's a
It's not like a virus.
metronome. Okay, yeah.
You know, it's not like some nasty, creepy thing. It's like, just like whenever
It's
your
you.
your body messes
Yeah,
up.
it's your own internal
It's like-
subconscious.
It's your fault, you
It's
know.
like my bee, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
no, yeah.
oh, it
Oh.
fell off. Gosh.
You know, I think this is a really
What am I
good
gonna do?
metaphor.
There you go.
Oh,
It looks
thank
like
you,
a
sir.
Sperm.
No.
Oh.
Where'd the uterus go?
Guys, PG.
It's a bus trip.
I'm gonna
Is
throw it at the
this in
camera.
the podcast?
Huh?
Is this
Yeah, for sure. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
my life?
This one will be PG-13. What
Oh.
PG-13 rating?
Buster,
It's
say
gonna
a
affect
bad
my
word.
higher ability in
Say
the
a bad
future.
word, Buster.
Bad word
Who are you
Buster.
planning on getting hired
Bad
by?
word Buster and blower. Not much to explain there.
If I become a hitman, you know, I want to be like respectful.
Wait, what was your number 2, Buster?
My number 2 is influenza.
Yeah.
The reason influenza is scary is because it's actually relevant and will kill people, and it could actually be a
Really?
real problem. Unlike most of the diseases on this list that are under control, influenza is always out of
It's
control.
evolving, you know.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
always
It's
out of
changing.
control. So influenza could evolve into a specific strand that's really lethal and highly, contagious, and that could be scary. So, you're number 1, Blower.
I got a classic as number 1, AIDS. It's a classic.
Do you need help?
And let me tell you why.
You know,
Because Freddie Mercury had it.
What? Wait, really?
who's that? Anyway.
Anyways,
Oh.
guys, Freddie Mercury died of
The guy
AIDS.
who sang,
And-
"Tonight, I'm gonna," you know that song.
What?
What about tomorrow night?
No, is that Queen? Queen is Freddie Mercury.
It's-
Yeah.
Queen is Freddie Mercury.
Tonight,
Why?
Yeah, you know
I'm
they got
gonna
two-
have myself a good time.
Yeah, tonight I'm gonna. You know that.
Dear God.
Not really, no. Maybe if I heard it.
Have you
then
done a
I'd know.
choir?
Dun, dun, dun,
You
dun,
said-
dun, dun.
What's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
musical instrument of choice?
Oh well, I locked up the musical instruments in my room in the back of the closet. So.
But what is?
Why you
if
just
you
throw
have
them
to
out or
pick
give them to
one?
me? Or
Oh, no. I still like
You're
them.
gonna keep them, but
I'm not
you're
gonna play them.
Anyway,
like
Yousef, what's
dumb.
your number 1?
Yeah, what is your
My number 1, my favorite or like.
No.
Your number 1 disease.
Oh, well, I chose bacterial resistant
Can I have the ball?
tuberculosis.
Hey, TB.
Yeah, bacterial resistant diseases in general. You know, I think it's a pretty bad thing whenever a disease becomes bacterially resistant. And so it's going to be more relevant in our future. You know, our kids are going to be like dropping dead because we don't have like antibacterial medicines that
Right.
make it strong enough. So we're going to have like 7
Yep.
kids again.
Yep.
Sure.
Thanks, people who don't use antibiotics properly. You doomed
Let's
us.
feed it to the animals we eat too. You know? So
Yes.
so we can speed
Mad
up the process.
Mad cow tuberculosis.
Let's really speed up the process, you know, for all these viruses and stuff.
No.
All right, Ubay, you're number 1.
Well, I don't have a number one, but
Oh.
you see, my number one is the flu because the real disease was the
Legendary.
flu the whole time, and I
Hey,
just
is that
want to
you?
make it like a sandwich.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
an
Peyton
ex-baseball.
once said,
I think the flu, you're number 10.
yeah, it's sandwiching the rest, you
Oh,
know.
okay. Okay.
Because the flu can be bad.
Is
and
that the
good.
picture of
They're
it right there? I think it is.
I used to do freelance work.
Yeah.
so I
That
wanted
or
to-
and he had to
that
make
or
himself
that
look
disease. This is the
older.
capo version. That's what it's called, capo.
Okay, bro.
It's pretty good.
Yep,
How
that
many
is pretty good.
Yousef Abdelgabers are
That,
there?
that is
A
him.
lot, but I'm probably one of the only ones in America spelled that way because
Oh,
it's an
okay.
Arabic name.
Ubay Keblawi.
Ubay Keblawi. It's the,
Anyway,
Wowie.
I guess
so
the
Mrs.
awesome.
Brooks once asked what the parts of the essay were, and Peyton Levi responded with, "So there's the bun, and there's the lettuce." And then she was looking for thesis, assertion,
Evidence
conclusion,
and
evidence, yeah.
conclusion.
Parts of the essay?
Yeah, like of a rhetorical analysis essay.
Yeah, it's the bun, the
The
lettuce.
lettuce.
All right. I guess I'm going to cap this off here with my number one.
Capo?
Which I'm going to capo this off with my number one, which is Huntington's disease.
You like that? You don't like that one?
I mean, dancing is fun whenever it's voluntary.
Oh.
Have you been saving that?
You've been saving that
Yousef,
one.
can you sing for us again?
Huntington's is just so scary. It's
Huntington
like,
is very scary. I go there every day.
Dude,
you know?
yeah, they straight up. We're gonna-
all
we
right,
are in-
everybody. My other host has just left. So what I'm
He's
gonna
left
do
the building.
is I'm
Where's
gonna.
he going?
He's leaving. I'm gonna cap this off. I don't have.
Sorry, guys.
Live demonstration.
Yeah, my camera's off, but there's probably something going on in its place because I like to do fun stuff. But I appreciate you guys sticking around for this whole one. This has been a long one,
Oh,
an
yeah.
entire 2 hours and 7 minutes.
Hey,
Dang.
But I think
Is that
this
the longest one?
This has been a good one.
Yeah, season
Yeah,
2, episode
season
2.
two, episode two.
That's 2 hours, dude. 2, 2,
Yeah.
2.
You can break it up
We
into
should have done it
two-part
on
series,
February
man.
22nd. You know?
If you guys have any
definitely will.
feedback, that'd be just dandy. If you enjoyed it, please share it around with all your bestest of friends and
Oh,
parents. Share it with
yeah.
your parents.
No, actually, not this episode. Well, depends on how the editing goes.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no editing. This
There's
is
not
raw. It's gonna be
much.
raw footage, isn't it?
So,
Hey guys,
It's gonna be raw, you know. Oh,
thank you guys for watching, guys. Let me give a little intro. We'll vlog a little bit.
Can I do a giveaway? Personal, you know?
Yeah, you can.
oh, giveaway.
Yeah.
Hey
Okay,
guys, Ubay's got a little giveaway.
Yeah, so I'll give away a special present for those of you who like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, even though we haven't posted in a while.
Oh yeah, and I think intern Neil isn't sexy is his Instagram name. Yeah,
does
follow
Slime
him
do?
as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ubay, slime.
No.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this episode of The Basement. It's been a good one, and we will
Solid
see you
episode.
around the next time, and hopefully we'll have some other stuff on the channel coming up for you guys soon.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Peyton Levi's coming too.